Hello and welcome to BierTier, the German engineer. Yes, today we are finally live again. Yes, finally it fit back into my schedule. Isn't that nice? I see Frozen Hair is already here as well as John Cornwell. Hello guys, how are you doing today? Really feels good to be back online, not gonna lie. Being alive, being able to have a conversation with you guys definitely always feels nice. And on top of that, we also have a new game. Well, maybe for you guys, not necessarily for me, but it's one of my favorites that I've played recently, and that is the Riftbreaker. It's a truly fun game. It kind of combines Factorio together with some kind of survival game, base building. It really has a little bit of everything. Hack and slash is thrown in there. And Killjoy is here as well. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing just fine. Yeah. In this game, we are going to play directly the campaign, because the campaign is made really, really well. We have plenty of content to go through here. I have all the DLCs. I completed the game probably twice, I believe. I think once on normal difficulty. Let's check it out. Once on normal difficulty and once on hard. And I think we are going to go hard one more time. Because I think brutal, I tried it out in my last one, campaign number 3. You can see the campaign name right here. It's definitely doable, but I won't have much time to look at chat, and that is not good. So I would say let's get started with that. Killjoy says as well as I can be driving across the country. You're driving across the country right now and watching the stream? Please make sure you're safe though. Do me that favor. Definitely nobody should crash and get harmed while watching my stream. That's the last thing I want. And Darth Cami is here as well. Yay, finally made it to a beer stream. That is really awesome that you got to join today. Trying out a new game today. We are playing the Riftbreaker. So I would say let's select the hard difficulty right here and start the game up. Let's take a look at this nice video sequence that they made from here. We are on Galatea 37, that is the name of the planet. Let me know how the sound is, if it is too quiet or too loud. Just feel free to point it out. Yeah. That right here, that is our rig that we will be in the entirety of the game.
Houston, I've spotted something near the LZ. It's closing in.
Oh, I'm sure it is. All right. Very short and sweet video sequence, but very highly produced. Really, really good. The game came out in, I believe, 2021, but I didn't discover it until last year. I think, yeah, 2022. No, 2023 is the first time I played it.
Rift jump successful. All systems check.
There we are.
Strength 1.05 G. Atmospheric pressure within safe levels. Magnetic field check. Error. Repeat magnetic field check with stationary equipment. Star system positioning check. Milky Way galaxy.
Just gonna let him talk here for a second.
Planet Galatea 37.
We have officially arrived on Galatea 37.
Welcome to Galatea 37, Mr. Riggs.
Well, I appreciate that.
Here. Virtual simulations on Earth were good, but this is amazing. An alien tropical paradise. And we're the first humans to experience it.
I'm not exactly human. You have a few parts missing as well. And the paradise part is also left to be determined. Remember your training, Ashley. We should set up a base as soon as possible.
You could at least pretend to be human. Just a bit. But you're right.
A little bit of a tutorial in the beginning here, of course, but the story will die down a little bit more. And if I'm talking over it, you can always read it in the left top. It's really nice right here. We have a wonderful, well, subtitle, top title in this case, I guess. But yeah, that is a Definitely a good feature, especially for streaming, so I don't have to shut up the entire time that they're talking to us.
Before the natives spot us.
But yes, let's talk about what we can do in this game. First of all, of course, we have our rig right here. It can move around. We are looking in the direction where our mouse is pointing, and we have currently two weapons. We have a sword, and we have a little bit of a machine gun right here. If we go to something like this here, this is carbonium ore, we can mine it with our rig. It's a pretty nice thing, of course, because we can get more of it without having to actually build anything yet. And it's the first thing we gotta do. We need to gather 200 carbonium, which we have now. But since we're already here, might as well stick around a few seconds longer to get a couple more carbonium ore in. Definitely doesn't hurt to have a little bit more, rather than a little bit, not too much as usual. So now we can open up the build menu, and right here on the bottom we have now the build menu open. And we can build, well, our first building, which is the headquarters. For that we need to find a good location though. So let's take a look around here. On the bottom right here we can see the minimap. The minimap shows us what we have discovered, and of course most of it is currently covered in the good old fog of war. Just like in, well, basically every game. Rodrigo is here. Hello to you as well. I hope you're having a good evening. Well, if it is evening wherever you are. So we can see on the map here, we have discovered a couple more nodes of resources. Like our second resource right here, we have ironium ore. So let's see if we can find us a nice, somewhat open space where we can build our first building. Let's take a look around here. It's nice. The robot does move in the same speed in any direction, so no matter where my mouse is pointing, no matter where he's actually looking, wherever I'm going with WASD, yeah, it just goes there. It's really nice. I don't have to worry about where I'm pointing my mouse while I'm going. That may look a little bit weird, but I'm sure you guys will get used to it. Down here we saw in red a few enemies, but I think our biggest space is roughly right here. So this here is where we are going to build our first building, the headquarters.
Headquarters construction is in progress.
It's night in here, waiting for the dinner. Well, I hope you get something good. So right now we are building the headquarters, and it basically just gets built by a little robot. That's how it works. Our headquarters is a really nice building because it can heal us, and we can always, wherever we are on the map, travel back to it. We can just click on it, and we are basically teleported right back where our headquarters is. That makes it, of course, our central building and one of the most important ones. Now, we saw not that long ago how we can excavate ironium ore, or better to say carbonium ore right here, just by holding the spacebar. But yeah, of course, that is not really how to do it, right? So we need to go ahead and we need to build us a factory. And the factory, we're just going to plop it right here. And it will get built once again by our little robot. And it just comes out, takes a few seconds, and there it is. So let's get that done. Just wait for it. We can mess up a few plants here in the meantime with our sword, I guess. Yep, of course, we will need some power. So let's take a look into the power menu. In the beginning, we have basically 3 different methods to generate power. We have a wind turbine, which is always on, but it depends on the wind speed, which we can see on the bottom right here. Then we have solar panels, which are more powerful, but at the same time, they are not always on. For example, at night, like right now, it is currently at 11 o'clock at night, it's 2300 in military time or European time, I guess. Yep. Solar not going to do us any good. Or we can build a carbonium power plant. The carbonium power plant can be built on top of a carbonium field, and it will just extract carbonium. And that is what we're going to start with. Obviously, the carbonium will run out eventually, so it will not stick around forever. But for a beginning, let's plop one down. Just as simple as that. Since those 2 buildings are right beside each other, it should be powered without building an energy connector. And Jay is here. Hey, how are you doing tonight, Jay? Hope you're having a good one. So let's take a look here. We have it powered up, and because they're right beside each other, we do not need this power connector, which connects our buildings together, which is very nice. And now we have a steady flow of carbonium coming in. We can see it up here on the top right of the screen. But of course, we will build a couple of our energy connectors right here to connect it to our main base, because the main base generates its own energy. So if the carbonium runs out in our power plant right here, at least this here will still be powered.
Won't hurt to set up some solid defenses, just in case.
And now, yeah, the guys up here are just talking about it. We have an attack incoming in 6 minutes, and they want us to build at least 6 sentinel towers. So we should probably get started on that somewhat soon. But before we do anything else, we need more resources. For example, up here on the top left, let's cut down a few of those trees so we can see a little bit easier what's going on here. Yep, we have a big old carbonium field. So let's go back into our build menu. Let's build us a few more carbonium factories right here. And of course, we need more carbonium. We're going to help out manually for a little bit here, because we need to get all these here up and running, all 4 of them that I'm going to build here. So we have a good supply before we can do anything else. That is highly, highly important, of course. So let's grab us a few. We have about 100. With 100, we can build 2 more. And that is exactly what we're going to do. 1 right here and 1 right there. And 1 more will fit here, but we will probably just go ahead and build us another carbonium power plant. The nice thing about the resources in this game is, no matter where you mine them, they will just automatically be added to your storage. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter how they're powered, none of that matters, which is a really, really nice thing. But of course, we need a little bit more so we can actually afford our carbonium power plant here. There we go. And now we have 3 up and going. I wanted 4, but 3 is better than nothing. So, in a few seconds, here we will see that this here comes online, and it should work. Can you recover the carbonium extractor when there is more? I can sell it. Yes, right here, and I get actually 100% of its cost back. So, for example, down here on the bottom right, we can see that there's 2 more tiles right here, right, that we are not covering currently. I could build another one right beside it just to cover those 2 tiles here, or whenever this one here is done, I can just sell it and plop it 1 tile further over. It's really my choice, which is a nice thing. Okay, so that is a good start, but we can see right at the moment we are generating right here a 60, and we are using 20, which is okay. And when we go away from there and we go to another base, which this here basically counts as its own base, it says here local, because this here is the local power supply. We are producing 60 and we are using 60, because it is not connected to our quote-unquote main power grid, which is down here, of course, connected to our headquarters. So let's go ahead and let's get us a little bit more power in, because we will need that for those towers we need to build. How about something like this here? That is 5 wind turbines. We're just going to connect them to the base with 1 energy connector. They're right beside each other, so they don't need to be all connected to the energy connector. It just works the way it is right now. And there we have it. And we can see we are now producing a lot more power. We are at 122, 131, 137, 140. There we have it. All done. Very good. Next, the game wants us to build an armory, but we are not quite there yet. First of all, let's go ahead and let's build us some defenses. Right here we have sentinel towers. We will need those very soon because the attack is coming. Probably could survive it completely without the first one. We are on hard, so it may be... yeah, it is probably still okay, honestly, even on hard. We will need more of our wonderful ironium, though. So let's get here a little bit mining manually for right now until we are able to build more factories down here. We don't have anything that can generate energy out of ironium, though. So what we could do, as a matter of fact, build one right here, build another one right there. That covers 2 of them. And we can see here on the left side, the ironium factory needs energy 20 per second. If we now take a look into our production buildings, 1 wind turbine gives us 12. Therefore, to cover the 40 that we need to build 4 of those wind turbines. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, this here will be its once again its own localized little area, which will produce us some ironium, which is definitely, once again, a good thing. Let's get mining one more time here. More ironium ore. So we can build a couple more towers, mainly around our main base. If they destroy this here, it's not the end of the world, because it's just a tiny little piece with 5 buildings or 6 buildings that we can rebuild very quickly and easily. But if our base falls, our headquarters, it is game over. Therefore, this here is what we need to defend at all cost. Let's build us a couple more towers. Once again, we can build them anywhere really, and it doesn't matter too much. We can just delete them whenever we want, and we will get all the resources back, which is of course a nice thing. For our sentinel towers right here, we need something called AI cores, because they have artificial intelligence built in. They're aiming by themselves, so they need an AI core to, well, get that done, I guess. We have an AI hub. If we build one of those things, it costs us 100 carbonium, 75 ironium, and 20 energy. But we are getting 4 more AI cores. And to get our mission fulfilled, we need one of those. So we're going to do precisely that. And then I guess let's build us a couple more towers just somewhere in the reach of our energy grid, just so we fulfill that first mission up here on the top left, which we have done right now. Very, very good.
We can focus on expanding our base further.
The attack is about to come in, so you will see for the first time what our enemy actually looks like in this game. At least, well, the very first enemy, the little zerglings. But in the meantime, let's take a look. Our armory right here is almost ready. Very, very nice. So we can actually build it before the attack happens. So we will do precisely that, and we will plop it somewhat close because it's also a highly important building. What it does, I will explain here in a second. It is a very good building. It can help us build better equipment for our mech, and at the same time it builds us more ammo. Earlier we talked about, we have right here our little machine gun, and it has currently 285 out of 320 bullets left. And we don't have any more bullets coming in, which is of course a problem. But the attack is incoming. As soon as we have the armory, we are gonna get more bullets though. Currently, we are being attacked down here, and here we have the Zergs. These little things, these little critters here are, well, just kind of like in StarCraft, here to overwhelm us. As many of them as possible. Of course, this is the very first attack in the tutorial of the game. It's not a hell of a lot of them. They could have come from any corner, so we don't know where they are going to come from before the attack actually happens. Therefore, I didn't know they were coming from this corner. Otherwise, obviously, I would have built all my towers down here. But they caused a tiny little bit of damage right here. We can see they destroyed one of our wind turbines, but we have our handy repair tool here with R. We just click once if we have the resources and repair it all just like that. Really, really simple and straightforward. Again, we were playing on hard, and that was the first attack. That was very easy. We didn't have anything to do. Our sword got it all done. But that is not going to last like this very long. It is going to get exponentially harder the more time passes in the game and the more advanced technologies we research. Can you have one main base only? Yes, I can only have one headquarters. I cannot have another one, at least not on this planet. We are far, far, far away from going to another planet, or better to say different areas on this planet to be more precise. But eventually, later on, I can have more of them, but not on this map. On this map, this is our home now. If we like it or not, that's where we are.
I don't doubt that. If I didn't come here myself, then someone else would have. I believe that we can do this in a better way. We have to defend ourselves and secure the necessary resources to set up the Rift Station. But we don't have to destroy all the wildlife.
We don't have to destroy all the wildlife we encounter. Well, I am not so sure about that, honestly.
We want to progress as a species,
but we will see about that.
We should study this planet and learn how to blend with the environment and prepare a safe home for humanity.
So, right here is our armory. We just talked about it. I can walk up to it and it says here, hold SPC spacebar. If I do that, we will get into this little menu right here. In this menu right here, we can see all those different weapons. Some of them you don't see if you just buy the game, because you can unlock them, and then once you unlock them once, they will just stay around. Usually this list here is a lot shorter. Because I already played through the game a couple times, this list here is a lot longer. But most of them really don't help too much. There are just a few that we actually need. Like, for example, right here in armor, having armor plating right now would give us an extra 20 health points. That wouldn't hurt. Resists all damage 1% and resists physical damage 4%. definitely something that we need to look into. And then weapons, right now we don't really need anything. We can see what we currently have. We have a small machine gun. So it is really nice that it shows us right here that we already have it, so we don't actually accidentally build it again, because some of the guns are very similar named. And then over here, this here is actually our Mr. Riggs. We can do a hell of a lot here. We can give him different weapons if he would have any, which we currently don't. But we can also switch which arm he is using. And we are just controlling his arms, whichever one we are using, with the left and the right mouse click. It's literally this simple. In appearance, I do have a few unlocked. Usually in the beginning, you don't really have any. But yeah, we do have a few. How about we go with a nice red? In this environment, he should stick out a little bit better this way. And other than that, we have different movement skills that we could give him. Different consumables that we could give him if we had any. But we are at the very beginning of the game. Of course, we don't have any of that available yet. So let's make sure we build up our base. And we are gathering as many resources as we can. For example, I see on the map up here, we have more of our wonderful ironium. And I think it's always a good thing to get those in. So let's build us a couple more ironium factories. By the way, these things here cover a 3x3 area. So that is a good thing to know, because then you can maximize the amount that you can cover. In this case here, it doesn't really help us a hell of a lot. But we can build something like this here, which covers the majority of this ironium field. And now, if we don't want to build its own power supply, we could go ahead and take a look. We currently have, well, only 15 power left over in our main grid right here. So it's not really that helpful, but we're going to do it anyway. We are just going to build some energy connectors connected to each other all the way up. Yep, all the way to the top right here. These two are connected, so that's fine. And of course, now our power will drain. Yep, now we are using more power than we are producing, which is of course an issue. So we need to do something about that right away as well. We can see right here, that is our stored power. So as long as this number here on the left doesn't reach 0, we are golden, we are still okay. But again, we will need a little bit more power. We are going to go with a little bit more wind power. We're just going to plop a few more in, something just like that. That will keep us alive for right now without an issue. Okay. Slowly but steadily, we're getting around here. We have a lot more ironium laying around here. We need much more of this stuff, of course. So, let's take a look here. Once again, we're going to go into here and we're going to grab us a ironium factory. We're going to build one, let's say, good place right here maybe. And probably right there. We don't have to cover all of it once again. That would just be a waste of resources right at this moment. Really not worth it, especially since we don't have that many yet. So it is a good thing that we can just locally power it, and I would highly recommend it in most cases. It's such a little, the resources that you need are so few that it really is a better idea to just go ahead and locally power those little nodes right here, instead of building one huge base. That would be my recommendation if you try it out. Yeah. Best thing you can do. Other than that, let's take a look at a few more buildings. We have a solid material storage, which of course is unsurprisingly expanding what we can have in our hold. Right here, for example, it doesn't really matter where we build it. Once again, it doesn't need anything. It doesn't require power or anything. It just is somewhat expensive in the beginning because it does cost carbonium. And it does cost 100 of it. And then it expands our storage for carbonium and for ironium by 200 actually. So it is worth it in the long run once we are discovering bigger and better methods of actually gathering the stuff. Let me grab a little sip to drink here real quick. All right. That feels better in the throat. Now, what else do we have in here? For example, we have those rift portals, and those rift portals here come in really handy because we can build it to those outward bases right here, for example. Let's build one right here. Let's actually go ahead. They only cost 25 carbonium, so they're not really that expensive. We're gonna build one over here. And then we're gonna come all the way up to the top, where we built the one right here. Gonna build another one. And then one last one over here on the left side. And these things come in really handy, especially when we're getting attacked, because they allow us to jump around in our base, just like we did in the beginning with our main headquarters. We can literally just go ahead and click on it, and we will get teleported there instantly, and we can do that as much as we want. That allows us to move around the map a hell of a lot faster, and again, especially when we're getting attacked, we can just go to this outpost here and defend it without having to go across the map, for example, all the way here to the bottom left. Really, really nice. Okay, what else do we have that we could need right now? Really nothing in defense. We have some traps here that we could literally build on the ground, and if a mob walks over it, it will get damaged. Pretty straightforward. Other than that, we have a plant, or a biomass power plant, better to say. All this little stuff here. So if I go ahead and I cut down a few more of those plants right here, we can see we are gathering plant biomass, and we can actually burn that for more energy. So to have one of those in our base at all times is a good idea, because we just get this stuff for free. It doesn't cost anything, and later on we can actually harvest it once we unlock the appropriate buildings. It's very, very nice. So I would say let's go ahead, let's plop one in. Again, location doesn't matter that much. We can just build it, for example, right here. That is just fine. And now when we do need the power, it will fire up and it will generate us more energy. Joseph says, good morning, drinking coffee right now. Good start of the day to see this live again. That is awesome to have a nice coffee. I hope you have a nice coffee machine at home. I'm a coffee fan myself, not gonna lie. What else do we have here? We have, yeah, that's basically it. We need to research more stuff, and to get into the research, we need to upgrade our base right here. So we can just walk up to it, or better to say, go into our build menu, and right here it tells us what we need. We need 500 carbonium and 500 ironium. We already have the ironium, but not the carbonium. So we need to make sure that we get that in. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, because we already had 412, and due to having nothing else to do, might as well help a little bit ourselves. So let's get digging here, and let's make sure that we get up to the 500 so we can get this done. And there you have it. That is past 500, and that is all it takes. Wonderful. And every time we upgrade our main building, it says the upgrade will attract a very strong attack. Are you sure you want to upgrade the headquarters building now? Well, this very strong attack is, of course, well, questionable. In the beginning here, it's not going to be the end of the world or anything. But later on, these attacks are actually killer. Like, they will overrun your base in a heartbeat. When you go up to level 5 and 6, it is getting really, really difficult. So we need to keep that in mind, that when we want to upgrade our base to the next level, or our headquarters, better to say, then we need to make sure that we are ready to go. In this case right here, we can still build 2 towers. So for example, the moment we see where they're coming from, which is the bottom right, we can go down here. And down here, we of course need a couple more wind turbines if we want to build towers. So let's do precisely that. And then we're going to plop in 2 towers to help us defend this area. Something like this here. That should get the job done. And now we wait for 1 minute.
I hope you're not offended. Are you?
No, that would be inefficient.
Jay says this seems more like an RTS style game like Warcraft than a colony builder or even an automation type Factorio. It is a little bit more real-time strategy. That is probably true, yes. But it does definitely have Factorio built in. Once we unlock the technology tree, you will see. There's a lot of things that we can later on automate. It basically starts very basic, where you have to gather all your resources yourself and just have some very basic stuff going on. But later on, it goes all the way up to, you know, nuclear power plants and nuclear launchers and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the further you go in, the less you actually have to do yourself in the terms of resource gathering. Just like your typical Factorio, basically, I would say.
I can sense the ground shaking. I estimate a few thousand creatures running at our base.
All right.
They are very
Attack incoming in 20 seconds. We will see how much they throw at us here.
Let's go out and
It should still be more than manageable, especially with our 2 cannons right here. Should be okay. This speaks rimworld, but 3D and futuristic to me. It is something like that, yeah? Yeah, somewhat. Obviously, the graphics and styling is completely different. But yeah, it is somewhat in that neighborhood, I would agree. Visually, it seems like it wants to be something between Factorio and Dyson Sphere Project. Yes. Yep, I would agree. Dyson Sphere Project is definitely also a game that I've played before. And it's definitely in the general area. Also something that I may want to stream eventually. Dyson Sphere Project, also a game that I enjoy. But lately I just enjoyed this game here a lot. Okay, so here we have some bigger guys. These guys here do take a lot of hits before they fall over, so I need to be careful. And we can see, because we're in hard difficulty, they are hitting hard. Like, really hard.
It consumes a lot of energy. This will buy us some time until the next attack. Let's check
Okay,
after the HE.
was that the last of it? And here we found our first enemies that can actually do some distance damage. They have those little acid spitters on them if you want. But yeah, it is definitely... We can see that the types of enemies, I think there are, if I'm not mistaken, like 50 different types of enemies in this game. So it becomes quite interesting later on. Each of them has their like own abilities. Each of them has their own resistances that you have to take care of and whatnot. It becomes basically a tower defense game, which I have always enjoyed. Basically my entire life, tower defense was always fun to me. And basically just building a big old base, and you can build a wall around it. You can build different towers. Like there are so many towers, it's not even funny. There's a lot going on here, but we will get through that step by step by step. I see Venom says oxygen not included is better than everything. Pretty sure a few people here share that opinion, there's no question. Can you build more mechs for defense? I cannot build more mechs per se, but there are drones that I can build. So, well, let's go ahead and let's do the next step in our tutorial here. It says build a communications hub. We can build this thing, and that actually will unlock the research tree. So we can take a closer look at that as well. Let's plop it somewhere over here. Very soon we will need an area with a lot of space. So what are we going to reserve here? Probably either up or down. Probably down. We're going to go up with our center. Yeah, right here. And we're just going to connect it to our power grid. Just as simple as that.
all the technology blueprints that we need through this building's quantum entanglement template matrix.
It's a pity that
Chase says, don't be ridiculous at Icy Venom. Someday someone will make a game better than Oxygen Not Included. Who knows? It could even happen within our lifetime. I doubt that. I doubt that.
Is operational.
In case you're wondering, my current plan is to stream again after today on Saturday. Probably once again with a quote-unquote hybrid stream to accommodate for a European time frame as well as the American, starting in the American in the Eastern time zone, probably at around 4 or 5 or something like that, and then going later into the night. And that will be Oxygen Not Included. So that is the plan for right now, just so you're ready. And I'm planning on coming up with a more consistent stream schedule that I will make available to you guys on Discord, and probably also right here on YouTube in the community tab once I actually have established one. I will not promise that I can hold myself to it 100% of the time, but I will try my best once it is established to hold myself to it. So you guys will have a better overview when I'm streaming, because currently it's just like, oh, look at that, I have time tonight, let's do it. And obviously that is not optimal and not very efficient. So since we are all about efficiency here, that has to change. But right now, we need to wait a few more seconds until our communications center here is ready to go. Let's just get us a little bit more biomass. Never hurts to have that stuff laying around just by cutting down stuff with our handy sword. Definitely a good thing to have a sword with you at all times. Not gonna lie. Alright, communication center. Yep, we made it right there. Wonderful. So, let's take a look at it. When we go into here, and we don't have to walk up to this building, we actually can't just go into the menu and click through here. So, yeah, I'm just doing it to visualize it a little bit better here in the beginning. This here is our technology tree. Or wait, this is the other half of the technology tree. No, wait a second, it's just a third of it, because this is the other third. So we have 3 different technology trees going on here at once. Again, it is a little bit more complex, but it's really not that difficult because everything is described very, very nicely. Let's see here. We have right here the energy relay system. We don't need that right now. We will only talk about the ones that we actually need. We have a biomass energy plant. We don't need that either. We do have a radar. We will talk about that here very shortly. We have ammo storage and a tower ammo factory will come in handy very soon. We have a sentinel tower level 2, so we can upgrade our sentinel towers to, well, put out a little bit more damage, of course. We can start handling cobalt, which is a new resource, and we can upgrade our headquarters to level 3, or better to say, unlock the ability to upgrade it to level 3. And over here, orbital scanning. In our second tree, those are weapons and armor. We have reflective armor, we have a radar pulse and a dodge roll. Radar pulse is of course an ability, and the dodge roll is of course a skill. We have grenades, we have a spear, we have a hammer, a power fist, a flamethrower, floating mines, a grenade launcher, a rocket launcher. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of options that go around here. But once again, we will talk about the ones that we actually need. Usually I like to get started with the radar. The radar is a pretty simple thing. Well, it shows us where the enemy is coming from a further distance. And that's a very good first thing to have. We can see here what the research time is. It's 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And those are real-time minutes. Pretty simple to keep in mind here. The second thing that we want is cobalt handling, because we do need cobalt very soon. So let's plop that in as well. And probably we will also need a little bit of ammo for our towers eventually. So we're going to add that on top of everything else. The ammo, by the way, is not for the sentinel towers. The sentinel towers have unlimited ammo, but for every other tower that we will unlock subsequently, we will need that ammo. And up here on the top right, we can see what we are currently researching and how much time is left on it. It's pretty straightforward. Jay says, it's been a few weeks since I mentioned it to you before, Bier. Have you had a chance to look into Mind Over Magic at all? I am not gonna lie to you, I haven't looked into it yet. But I'm also not gonna lie to you. Let me see. I opened up a browser window right now, right this very second, so I don't forget it again. I apologize for that, but I will definitely look into that after this stream. And next time around when you ask me, I will have an answer. Prison Architect 2 is dropping soon, I think. I'm going to be having fun toying about in there. Really? I didn't know they're actually making a second one. I haven't even heard about it. I have actually enjoyed the first one quite a lot. Kind of forgot that it exists up until you just mentioned it. But yeah, if there's a second one coming, that is certainly something that I'm going to be interested in as well. The first one was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stuff that you can break by just trying around. But yeah.
That's true. It's a massive building with multiple components and
I need to take a look at that.
For plasma fuel and coolant.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun messing around in the first one. Oh yeah.
With multiple
Oh yeah.
buildings, so we should plan.
I don't know if you've seen the Spiffing Brits iconic video on how he became a millionaire in the game by just planting trees. Yeah, that is certainly one of my favorites, not gonna lie. Never thought that would be possible, but I broke it in a couple ways myself. That's okay, you don't owe me anything. It just seems like it might be up your alley. Being a colony builder by Clive with turn-based combat for some reason. Really? I mean, I'm always interested in learning about new games, so that is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm an honest guy. If I don't like it, like if I look it up and I don't like it, then I will tell you that just as much. It's that simple. But yeah, if you guys have suggestions, I'm always happy to look at it, you know. You love his videos? Lately, I haven't had any time to watch him, so I don't know what he has been up there, but maybe a year ago or 2 years ago or so, I usually consumed his videos quite often. Fan myself, just how that goes. Right here, we have the Rift Station. The Rift Station is the next thing that we need in this game that we're actually playing right now. Because this here actually allows us to open up a portal back to, well, home, Earth. Costs us quite a lot of stuff. You can see it: upkeep, energy, water, supercoolant, supercharged plasma. So we need to buy it. So have I been pronouncing Cly wrong this entire time? I don't know. I don't know how you have been pronouncing it, but Cly is actually a company that is based out of Europe, in Germany. And it should be pronounced Cly. Unless they're going for the English pronunciation, then I guess it would be something close to clay. I don't know. Honestly, I've never heard anybody say it. Cly is actually just a distributor of Mind Over Magic. The game itself is made by another company. Huh. Okay. That may explain why I've never heard about it, because Cly only has like 3 or 4 games. They don't have that many that they actually make themselves, as far as I'm aware. Alright, what we can see is we need 1,000 carbonium and 1,000 ironium, and for that we need more storage. But that was the wrong button. It was actually shift, and with shift we sprint to our heart's content. We don't want to sprint, we want to build, of course. Yeah, wanted to hit the control key. But right at the moment, we are building 2 more of those storages, which should give us a total of 400 more storage available. And with those 400, we should be able to reach the 1,000. Of course, that will take some time, unless we take the time that we have and we are running around and we are trying to find us a few enemies, for example, right here. Can just mow those down with a machine gun, not a big deal. Just walk backwards and shoot them. Again, the little Zergs are not really heavy hitters, or better to say, they do hit pretty hard, but they also don't have a lot of health. And then we can see if we can find us a little bit more here on our map. Resources are a little bit sparse around here. Right here we have those yellow plants. I don't even know what they're called, but when you shoot them, they explode. And they do a lot of damage when you stand right beside them. So, yeah, those need to be watched out for. Geothermal vents we can use later, of course, for geothermal power. Always a good thing. Here we have a couple more of those acid spitters. Well, a couple is actually an understatement. There's a lot of those things. Good grief. And also those hit on hard difficulty pretty hard. You saw it, maybe 1 or 2 of those things hit me and immediately my health went down to about 50%. Good grief. Gotta be a little bit careful here with dodging. But other than that, we can just mow those down. There are those little camps all around the map that we need to watch out for. Oh, look at those here. These things right here are basically mortars that spill acid, and when you destroy them in melee, they also do damage, so we need to be careful. Currently, our sword is by far our strongest weapon, and also our only one because we ran out of bullets. But other than that, we just need to be a little bit careful here. The nice thing is, and we can just demonstrate that I'm going to die here on purpose. I'm going to run into this thing here. Come on, hurt me. Oh, of course, when I want to die, I can't die, really. Because, yeah. Let me find another group and die on purpose. Here we go. When we die, when our mech dies, nothing really bad happens other than we are dropping one of our guns that we have equipped, and it's laying around right here, right now. So we can pick it back up. But we are being respawned at our headquarters. We cannot really die, ever. Which is very nice. But at the same time, yeah, our headquarters right here can die, and when it dies, that is game over. So death doesn't really have that much of a consequence other than dropping our weapon that we currently have equipped, one of the 2 weapons that we have currently equipped. Therefore, we need to head back where we came from so we can pick up our MG once again. There it is. And now we have it again. And now we can just go and shoot it again. Just as simple as that. We found more Ironium here, which is good. Of course, more enemies right there. Let's get rid of those real quick. And we are still in the tutorial phase. Therefore, everything is still extremely easy, extremely slow going. There are not a lot of attacks. The enemies are very weak. But as soon as we get out of the tutorial phase, all of that will change, basically in an instant. But for right now, let's keep going with our objectives. Like this Rift Station right here. The Rift Station, we can build...
Storage buildings.
We need a lot of space around it, because eventually that thing needs a lot of infrastructure, and it tells us that. It says plan a lot of free space around it. That is something that we actually don't really have, which is, of course, a slight issue. Not entirely sure where to plop this thing. Maybe down here. Down here should give us enough space all around to build the infrastructure that we require later. So, I'm pretty sure this here should be almost the end of the tutorial too. Jay says, still it has a lot of Oni vibe, also nothing remotely equivalent to the cellular automata element, which is what makes Oni unique. Yep, very true. It definitely makes it unique. I haven't found another game that is somewhat similar to it. Like, if you have something, let me know, because I'm always happy. Again, I'm always happy to look at something, but I have not found anything that's even close to Oxygen not included. There is nothing else like it as far as I'm aware. The way the camera is and the mouse tracking for aiming gives me V Rising vibes, and I don't mind it. Of this game here, yeah, it's really nice. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, like when you played yourself the first time, if you're not used to that kind of thing, that your character just moves completely independently of where your mouse is. Definitely a little bit odd in the beginning, but once you get behind it, it's really nice.
Very well.
What do you mean?
The sacrifice part.
I see Venom says, my videos are her favorite.
Yes.
She may be slightly biased, since, in case you guys don't know it, I see Venom happens to be my girlfriend, who always loves to hang out and chat. So, say hello. She definitely doesn't mind.
Skip the military pathos and stick to your original programming. We've got a planet to explore.
Elizabeth is here and says, I'm finally able to catch a live. Hi, everyone. That is really nice that you made it. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you're having a great evening. If it is evening where you're located, that is, of course. You don't ever know. Just the last stream that I had, we checked out where people were from, and we literally had people from all over the globe, which was really, really nice to see.
A new technology has been developed.
Let's see here.
Available for construction.
What else do we have going on right now? We wanted to find more resources. I was mainly aiming for carbonium, but we haven't really been very successful, have we? It's a little bit sparse right now, which is a slight issue. We can use something else, though. Right here, when I hold the spacebar, we have this little scanner. This little scanner, we just follow it until the circle is full. Maybe that brings us some luck. So, let's see. Right around here. And what do we get out of there? Let's see. Okay, first we gotta kill the enemies. Come on, go away. Be a good boy. There we go. Let's see what we have here. Wonderful. We found carbonium, 200 of it. That was not the vein that I was looking for, but yeah, there we go. Okay, let's come down here. North Carolina, USA, totally evening here. 11-hour workday over. Well, I'm glad that day is over for sure, though.
Components that require a lot of rare resources to be built. The fusion field accelerator
Jay says, just joined the stream, not heard of this game before. What is the premise? What do you have to do and achieve? You are a, well, human that is inside of this robot right here. And you are on the planet Galatea 37, and you're trying to colonize the planet Galatea 37 for your species. For that, you have to build a base, you have to defend your base from all the wildlife that's around here, and you need to gather resources. That is the premise and what you're supposed to achieve from the game. It is a mixture of hack and slash, base building, action RTS, or action RPG mixed with RTS, better to say. So yeah, they mixed a lot of genres together. It is basically its own thing, though. I mean, there's really nothing else exactly like it. It may remind you of Dyson Sphere program, where you have a mech like this as well, but it's more geared towards automation. Where this one here is more towards survival. 1 a.m. here in the UK, approaching 9 a.m. here in Singapore. Singapore, that is most definitely a new one. We definitely didn't have anyone from Singapore last time. That's really awesome. Just shy of 8 p.m. here. Yep, that is exactly my time zone as well. I'm located on the East Coast in the United States, Eastern time zone, and it is just 7:51 p.m. Okay, now our research here has finished, and we need to download the Orbital scanner. That's what the game wants, and we have another attack incoming in 1 minute. We can already see the attack is coming down here from the bottom. It's a tiny little here, this little icon down here. So probably either here or there is where the enemy will find our first outposts. Which means, well, might as well do something about that, shouldn't we? We can plop in a little bit more power. And then, of course, we will need, of course, another AI hub. There it is. The AI hub lets us have more towers. Again, it gives us more AI cores. And we're just going to connect it to the main power grid where the other one is. Just going to build us a battery of those things. And then we can come back down here and hopefully build us a couple more towers. And then we will defend this attack. Okay, come on. There we go. Let's build us one here, one there. Very nice. All right, now we are ready for the enemy. Of course, this one here doesn't have power. We do need a power line, which we're just going to plop right there. That should solve that problem. One more thing, we're going to go into the menu and to research, because while this attack is happening, we don't need to sit around and do nothing. We can go ahead and start researching our orbital scanning as the game wants us to do. Certainly gives me V Rising vibes with Dyson's Sphere vibes too. Yep, I would say that's probably a really, really good explanation. Or a good, I don't know how to say it, comparison, I guess. Not at all, Icy Venom. I'm quite sure that eventually someone will make a better game. After all, when Oni was made, they didn't have Oni to inspire them. Well, I mean, we know one of those days Oni 2 will come out. Maybe a few years from now, but there will be an Oni 2, I'm sure. The lightning effect looks lush. Yes, the lightning effects are actually really good on the game, honestly. I have ray tracing, of course, all the way turned up. Ray trace shadows, we have it all. Thankfully, I have a computer that's good enough to give you the best graphics effects that a computer can generate for any game there is, which is definitely a little overkill for oxygen not included. But for anything else, might as well throw some power at that sucker. Can you get things for your base to help defend, like turrets? Yes. We have turrets right here. We have here Sentinel Tower, which is basically just your standard machine gun turret tower. But later on, we can take a look here in our research. We can get, for example, artillery towers, which we may as well add directly to the queue for our research, because those things are great. Over here we have flamer towers, which are, well, flamethrowers. Surprise, surprise, we could have seen it coming. And we have repair towers, which are doing... Oh, sorry, that. Right here, we have a repair facility, which can, well, repair stuff when it breaks, so we don't have to do it manually. Which will also come in handy very soon. But it's a little bit early to research that. Don't really need it. We don't really have that much stuff that even can theoretically be damaged. So, download the orbital scanning technology. We are already in a process of that. And it asks us to craft an item in the armory. We're going to do that right away. Because, as I said earlier, armor plating wouldn't hurt. Yep. And now we have it. We will get 20 extra health points, 1% resistance to everything, and 4% resistance to physical damage. And in inventory, We're just going to put it on, just like that, double click it, and now it's right here. Of course, there are other iterations. We can upgrade it. I mean, the options are just a huge amount of options. Just let me put it that way. Right here, we found a few of our wonderful consumables here. We can just put them in. For example, right here on our acid cluster grenade, we just find them from killing enemies. They just drop that stuff randomly every once in a while, like the mini miner, for example. And of course, what else can we throw in? A cryo sentry. And we can use this whenever we want to.
Don't forget to change my loadout and weapon configuration.
Many turrets for base defense. Yes, we will have a lot of turrets very, very soon. There's no question. Do you have elite boss monsters to kill? Yes, there are elite and boss monsters as well. Rini? Really? An Oni sequel? What would they do with that? Sell more copies, most likely. That's probably what they would do with that. Yeah, the anticipation is real for an Oni sequel. I don't see it happening anytime soon. I'm just saying there will be one day, I'm sure. I can't imagine that they are not already working on it somewhere in some kind of back office that's completely windowless and hidden away. Sorry I'm late. Daddy duties. What did I miss? Not really a hell of a lot. We just started out really easily. Right here, we have our little base that we just built. At the moment, it doesn't look like a hell of a lot, but over time it gets bigger and bigger and better. Something else that we can do is we can, of course, plop in walls. For example, we can just find us 2 points that are unbreakable, like, for example, right here, these rocks. Can't get rid of those, not even with a nuke. Those things are indestructible. And then we can just wall this side of our base off all the way up to, let's say, right here. Just as simple as that. Now the critters first have to destroy the wall before they can get into our base from this side. Doesn't really cost a hell of a lot. And we can put in gates. We can put in as many as we want. I usually put one every few feet, so when I want to go through it, I don't have to search for one. It's just a little bit annoying. And yeah, behind those walls here, we can of course put turrets. Tons and tons of turrets. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be good. Again, once the big waves are coming and we have a bunch of different turrets here and just bullets and fire and ice and acid is flying everywhere, that's when the game becomes really fun. Of course, in the beginning, every game starts a little bit slow, but right here, we will get through it. We already have the orbital scanning unlocked in 10 seconds. Multiplayer on Oni 2 would be interesting. There's a co-op mod for Oni, I think, but I haven't tried it yet. I actually saw that. I have seen that they made a mod, but it is questionable at best. I don't know. I looked at it, considered trying it, and I was like, well, it doesn't really look very fleshed out. But of course, the guys that are building it are doing the best they can with what they have. I mean, nothing against them. It's just nothing that I'm that interested in yet. But if it ever makes it into the actual game, oh my god, we're gonna have fun, guys. Not gonna lie.
It's not that close, really. We should craft some better equipment before...
You say that, and now I just envision an office somewhere with no windows, a locked and hidden door, and the human me being forced to make oxygen not included too. It's probably pretty close to the truth, not gonna lie. There's probably a human me sitting somewhere and it's like, oh, what can I put in here? Well, not a tile. Why does every game have to be multiplayer? It doesn't have to be, but it would be nice to have the option. Like, for example, this game here currently doesn't have a multiplayer at all. It just doesn't exist. But the developers are actually working on it with the next DLC. The co-op mode will actually be a free update. It will get a, I think, 2-player co-op, so 2 players can play together. And I mean, wouldn't it be nice to just play something like this here with your buddy, have 2 of those mechs running around, building a base and stuff? Obviously, you shouldn't have to be forced, in my opinion, but you should have the option. Alternatively, they could make dupes based on the developers of the original Oni game. I want to see the guy who wrote that famous line about the very small packages of material. I don't know if you saw that video of mine where I talk about that. When there is mass in oxygen not included that is smaller than 1 gram, so basically in the microgram area, it will not ever change its temperature. And the reason for it is, the current developers actually found it in the code. One of the former developers wrote a comment in there, and the comment said, if a very small amount of mass changes its temperature, very, very bad things happen and breaks the game. And yeah, still to this day, that hasn't been fixed. I just want to meet that guy. He's like, yep, can't figure it out. Just write a comment in there and call it a day. Okay, now that we have right here Orbital Scanner, we can go ahead and we can actually build this thing. Well, if we have enough of what we need, which we don't. We need carbonium, ironium, and our new resource, cobalt, which we don't have yet. We need to find that. So before we do anything else, actually, let's build us more solid material storage so we can actually obtain those 2,000. For that, we will need a total of 5, but we're going to build 6. Why? Well, just because it looks a little bit nicer, and more storage is always better. But other than that, let's head to that nice blinking X down there, because that is where we will find the cobalt that we need. And that is going to be a long way with a lot of dangerous things here in the middle. So that's going to be interesting if we can get there. Let's see here, not to have, but the option is nice for when you have friends or family that play as well. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly my opinion on it. Frozen hair. Couldn't say it better myself. I'm pretty sure the dupes are based on some staff members. I might be mistaken, though. I would be highly surprised if not. I mean, why come up with something random if you can just take real life as, you know, as your inspiration, right? Riftbreaker stream, but an oxygen not included conversation. I just can't escape oxygen not included, can I? But the other question is, do I really want to, though? Okay, so right here in front of us, we have another enemy, which is this golem right here. And the problem is with this golem, we can't do it anything. We can't do any harm to it because our sword, it just resists it. And our machine gun doesn't really care about that either. So all we can do is run. Eventually, it will just settle down and go back to sleep. But yeah, we need a different weapon to actually make this thing here disappear. All right. Oni's love, Oni's life, 100%. 100%. I mean, oxygen not included is literally just an engineer's dream game, right? I mean, it is close enough to reality to actually have fun with it, and it's not just completely made up nonsense, but at the same time, it has features that breaks the game, which makes it fun. That's how I look at it. Things that I would love to do in real life, but can't. Oh, we just died. Too many enemies. Too many enemies. We lost our blaster. Thankfully, it doesn't matter because we haven't even used that thing because it is garbage. So, we need to come up with a better way. Let's take another look into our research real quick here. Can we do anything to help us out? The orbital scanner has been researched, we know, but in here, we don't really have much. Reflective armor, maybe. But other than that, you know what? Let's get us a rocket launcher. That probably never hurts. And let's get us reflective armor. We're going to put that ahead in the queue. That's another nice thing here. Even though we are currently researching artillery towers, we can just put it back in the queue and it will not lose its progress. We are saying our explosive weapons are currently higher in the priority and it will just do precisely that. Later on, we can, of course, go ahead and we can build more communication hubs, which allows us to research faster. So that is basically how the research system works. There is also another type of research, which we will unlock later as well. But right at the moment, let's try to get back to where we were, because it is 10 minutes until our explosive weapons are done. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for 10 minutes. I'm way too impatient for that kind of thing. So let's see if we can actually make it over there this time without dying, preferably. And then we will go over there. I'm crying. I'm down to 4 FPS on oxygen not included right now. Oof. Oh, that hurts. That actually does hurt. I'm really sorry to hear that. Nobody should have to experience that, honestly. But I've been there too before, so thankfully those days are over. But yeah, that definitely used to be a thing. Could you imagine Oxygen Not Included having a dupe that ruins everything and you have to figure out how to steal his oxygen? Among Us Oxygen Not Included. Oh my god. Yes, that's exactly what that would be. You need to find the saboteur. Oh god. And here's a hint. It's always Meep. No matter what, it's always Meep. Oh no. On the one hand, EU, but the other AOC might stream it. Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's see. We got our weapon back that we don't want anyway. Let's see if we can find us some cobalt before we are dying a horrible death down here again. Because the enemies are getting stronger. Our base is under attack. Our building has been destroyed, really? Let's see if it can survive it without us here for a second. If not, we have to go back. Thankfully, we can teleport. That is not cobalt, is it? Can I get please some cobalt here? That would be nice. So we can return having fulfilled our mission and got what we need. So this here is cobalt ore. Okay, here we have some enemies that they will definitely destroy us. Come on. These things are actually invisible and they just come out of nowhere and murder you. You can barely see them against the background and they deal a ton of damage. These things are really, really dangerous. But we are looking really good. Down here, we have a cobalt, area where we can get us a little bit more cobalt before we leave. Or later on, we can actually mine it, but currently we don't have that unlocked yet. So what we can try to do is we can try to plop down a rift portal. It doesn't need power or anything. And we can just hope that it doesn't get destroyed. And we can eventually just teleport back down when we can actually go ahead and grab us the nice cobalt that we have. Let's see what kind of damage was dealt over here. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what attacked us. It wasn't an official attack wave, but every once in a while, especially on hard mode, they are just coming by and whenever they feel like an attack in the base. Apparently that's what happened here. The reason why it didn't come back immediately, I knew we have 2 turrets down here, and anything that they throw that early in the game at us should be handleable by those 2 turrets here. At least that was my hope, and apparently it was not that far off from the truth. But now we can build our, well, almost can build our carbonium or our orbital scanner. We are just down a little bit down on carbonium. Lessening my amount of air vents and water outputs always helps my frames quite a bit. I honestly don't know if that is doing the most. I think it definitely helps, don't get me wrong here. But I think the most amount of FPS you can get back in Oxygen Not Included is by restricting possible paths. Not only for dupes, but also for critters. The less paths they have to go, the less calculating has to be done by the CPU. And Oxygen Not Included is a very CPU-heavy game, not a GPU-heavy game. So if you can restrict that a little bit more, you give the dupes and also the critters a few less places they can possibly go, your FPS should increase drastically. BierTier seems to be distracted as the real reason he just died. Yes, by chat. You guys. Can you imagine AOC streaming Oxygen Not Included? No, her colony would be dead before cycle 10. I will bet anything I got. There's no way. Real question, what is AOC? I'll let Jay answer that. Oh yeah, the constant passing, that's actually fair. Yep, no, that's actually 100% the truth. I'm not making the shit up here as I go. The paths are by far the hardest hitter on your system. Okay, we have our little orbital scanner right here. We're just going to plop it against this wall here on the left, and we are hooking it up to power. Just as simple as that. That's all we need. There we have it. Now we just got to build it. And then we are slowly but steadily getting into our third level of research, and that is alien research. Because the alien research, yes, has its own building. Don't have that yet. Let's take a look. We need to go into our research menu, and we need to download. Let's see. It's not in here or in here. I think it's right here. Yes, we need the liquids and then the alien research down here. It's actually nicely highlighted for us. That makes it very easy. But for right now, we do want explosive weapons first, so we can actually defend ourselves a tiny little bit better than the mech armor, so we take a little bit more damage without dying. And then the artillery towers. That's definitely what we're going to stay at for right now, because that is the bare basics that we need. And right here, we have headquarters level 3. We are going to research that right after that. Once again, this here is just a research. It's not like right here when we upgrade it that a big wave is coming because we are researching it. That only happens when we upgrade our actual headquarter building.
The Alien Research Laboratory is a complex structure and requires multiple schematics in order to be built. Download the necessary technologies using the communications hub.
Jay says, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez occasionally streams Among Us. Does she actually still do it? I knew she did like a year or two ago, but is she actually still at it? I have not looked at that in a long time. Also, I think it's usually more talking politics than actual play, but I've never watched Among Us otherwise. I mean, of course, it's mainly talking politics. Her entire scheme is to play and try to get her policies across to the younger generation, which, credit to her, is extremely smart. That is actually the way to do it, in my opinion. If you want to be a politician and want to engage with the younger generation, that's the way to do it. Another alien attack in 1 minute 35. Coming from the top right this time, we have no defenses up here whatsoever, but we do have a wall that we can just extend very easily. So why not do precisely that? We can just come, let's say, from this rock all the way up to the next rock, which is right here. Of course, once again, the rocks cannot be destroyed in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, we should be somewhat safe behind it. Of course, what can be destroyed is our wall, so we need some defenses behind that as well. And then let's go a little bit further up here to the top. There we go, something like this here. Just gonna have a little bit of a further way to go if they actually want to go around here. Like I said, eventually this here does actually become a tower defense game more than anything else. But we want to come up with an area that we want to establish as our main base, and we will need lots and lots of space. And I say, yeah, probably somewhere around here and around there we're gonna build us 2 towers. That should be very helpful in the long run. Eventually we're gonna have a lot more towers, especially once we have our artillery unlocked. That thing slashes. That's very, very nice. Poodles are always sus? Yes, I agree. Since Icy Venom and I do actually have a poodle, we know exactly what you're talking about here. Those things are crazy. No idea if she's still doing it? I would be surprised. Is anybody still streaming Among Us? Is Among Us still a thing? I haven't heard about it in a long time, honestly. This looks like a 3D Mindustry? I don't know how to pronounce that. I actually don't know that game. Mindustry? Never heard of it, honestly. Check out BierTier's Discord in the pet section and I'll show you my poodle. He's cute. There is actually already a poodle picture in there. Yeah, can highly recommend the Discord. Lots of fun people in there. If you want to talk Oxygen Not Included or any other game, there are always people there that are more than willing to help, obviously including myself. And we of course have some fun channels like, for example, a pet section. So if you want to show off your cute pets, you're welcome to do so in my Discord as well. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. These things here take a lot of damage before they fall over, and they also deal out a lot of damage themselves. It would be really nice to have that rocket launcher right now, which we have just unlocked, but not yet built. So it is a little bit difficult to obtain that in the middle of this battle without having everything go to hell. And therefore, we will have to try to make do with our sword, without dying, preferably. Let's see if that's gonna go by well. Lots and lots of critters here. Oh my god. Can't get out of the way. Yeah, I got stuck on a mushroom, out of all things. Yeah. Let's teleport back up there right away as close as we can. That is actually where we are. Let's make sure we are not losing one of our important buildings because they're just highly expensive to replace. Everything else is not that big a deal, thankfully. Alright, very good. Now we can go ahead and very satisfyingly repair this wall. Looks really nice in my opinion, the way they did this here. I've definitely seen that done worse. And let's go ahead and replace everything that they destroyed. Thankfully, we do have the resources available to us, so it's not the end of the world or anything. Very nice. Right here we have mud. It just slows you down. It doesn't harm you or anything. Definitely something to watch out for as well. It's really just a nuisance if nothing else. And we are very low on power. Look at that. This thing here takes so much power in, my goodness. 500 per second. So yeah, we will have to update our power grid here slightly. Let's do precisely that, I would say. We need a lot more wind turbines to start with. I'm a big fan of renewable energies because, well, they are renewable, so we don't have to worry about that. Eventually our power grid just drops, which is the main benefit here. We can get rid of this tower. Once again, it doesn't cost us anything to sell. We are getting the full resources back. So that is once again a very nice thing all by itself. I will have to join. Hold, please let me find a link. You guys have the link. If you don't have it, it's in the description of this video and of this live stream, better to say, or every other live stream or every video. And if you can find it there either, let me know and I will happily post it into the chat. No problem at all. Again, Discord, obviously you guys know what Discord is. It is completely free to join and to just hang out with me and the rest of the community. Alright, we need to also implement some solar panels. So where do we build our solar panel farm? Probably a little bit further over to the left here. Yeah, right below this thing. Let's see, where does it fit? Right here. Let's put them in. Obviously, they're not going to produce anything right now because it's the dead of night. But as soon as day comes around, these things here will pump out more energy than our solar, or better to say, our wind turbines right here. To make that make sense, because during the night, again, we're going to lose all of this. We also need some energy storage. One of these things here stores 10,000 energy. So let's plop a few of those in as well. Doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to be functional. And 6 of them, that's 60,000 watts of power that we can store. Definitely a good start, I would say. Now, we have unlocked earlier our rocket launcher. So let's go back to the armory right here. And let's see if we can find it. Here's our rocket launcher, the first one that we can build. And we're going to make that thing right away. Go into the inventory, and we're just gonna put it onto our left arm. Double click it, and currently we have our sword on our left arm. And if I press Q, we're switching over to the rocket launcher. And now we are slowly but steadily starting to deal out some serious damage here. It is, of course, a rather small explosion, but a small explosion is always better than no explosion. That is definitely a good thing. Wonderful. As soon as day comes around, we should get a nice boost in energy, but still nowhere near enough. We have 9 of them making 20 watts each. Yeah, that is not a lot. Could be a lot better than that. Probably should build a few more. Let's expand it. Later on, we can just upgrade them, so it doesn't have to be infinitely made bigger, our power grid here. But for the moment, we don't have a choice. We just need to make it bigger to keep up with the demand. That is literally this simple. There we go. That should help out. And let's take a look. right here. We have a little red dot and it says here, stop the Canoptrix attacks. We just gotta find the source. And the source is right here. And it just said there are more creatures coming from that nest, so we will need to defend real quick before we can head out and actually destroy that nest.
One of our portals has been destroyed.
Yeah, so much about teleporting. It literally just got annihilated.
New technology has been developed.
My god. Alright, let's head down there and let's meet the enemy head on. Here we have a few more of the big boys. Let's test out our new weapon. And let's see if we can make those things here go away just a little bit faster. And I would say that already looks a hell of a lot better. Alright, let's go and destroy that nest before more and more attacks are going to slowly but steadily overwhelm us. That is certainly something we need to stop as early as we can. Can't really... Yeah, not good, not good, not good. Too many in a row. That is what the Zergs are doing. They're surrounding you. And once you're stuck in there, you can't get back out. That is always a highly dangerous situation in this game. Especially, they are Zerg. That's basically what they are. And yeah, just like in StarCraft, if there are too many of them, you are done for. Inevitably. Thankfully, as long as you can keep it in somewhat of a straight line, you should be golden.
Hostile creatures are coming from a nearby nest.
Okay, that is our end. Or maybe not. Can we survive it just a little bit longer? We are almost out of machine gun rounds. All we have is a few more rockets. There we go. Made it out of this one too somehow. By every right, we should have been dead. That was pure luck right there. Okay, here is the nest. The nest is something very nice, because we can just go around and the eggs around here usually contain some very nice resources. And then we just go ahead and blow it up. It's literally that simple. If we have bullets, that is, or rockets in our case, let's make sure it does. Yeah, there we go. And that is another mission fulfilled. Thankfully, that was very easy, but once again, that was the first one in the entire game. Yeah, they get a lot harder with a lot more enemies really, really quickly, and also relatively soon. Right at the moment, this game looks really simple and straightforward and easy, but I'm promising you that gets a lot different the further you go ahead. By now, we have our rockets, and earlier we couldn't really harm this thing because it resists everything. Now with rockets, we can finally do a little bit of damage. But there are too many enemies and we don't have enough bullets to actually fight them. So we're just gonna get the hell out of there and teleport back to base. Just as simple as that. And we can see it as long as we stand here, we're getting healed up. Very, very nice. A lot of people that I have seen play this game actually forget about this mechanic that you can teleport around. Always gotta keep that in mind. It saves your butt plenty of times. Okay, now headquarters level 3 is being researched. As soon as we have that, we can go ahead with the liquid research and the alien research, and we can also then upgrade our base, which will trigger a huge attack. And that is exactly what we are waiting for. Because I want to see the second one. It should be slightly more exciting than the first one. I'm not even sure if we're actually going to survive it. We need to see where they're coming from. And then as soon as we know it, need to start building a wall as well as our artillery. Otherwise, we will be overran in a heartbeat. Alright, we have a tower factor ammo, we have a power ammo factory now, and a ammo storage. We will need those for our artillery as well as our rocket towers. We unlock both of those at the same time. And both of those do require ammo that we need to create. And when they run out, they're just sitting there and doing nothing. And we can see it currently, we have fog, so there is different weather in the game. We have rain, we have fog, we have snow, we have all sorts of stuff going on here. Currently it's foggy, and while it's foggy, it doesn't just impair our vision on the screen, it makes everything kind of milky looking. But at the same time, we have down here our sun power as well as our wind power are both down to 50%. Yeah, never a good thing. Tell me your thoughts on the poo. Super cute. I bet he gets into everything, and that's why we call him Mr. Mooch. Yep, that is exactly what we call that thing. All right. Let's bring our energy up a little bit more. Yes, we have a lot of wind turbines sitting around, but we really need to get into higher research. Let's take a look at that real quick. Can we already do that? I don't think so. I think we will need the level 3 building for that, the level 3 headquarters. Yes, the renewable energy right here. That is exactly what we need to get into. All we have right now is the energy pylon, which doesn't help us, and the animal biomass, which is also questionable at best. Acid spear, we don't need it. Yeah, we literally need a renewable energies right here, and then renewable energy level 2. At that point here, we are going to look a hell of a lot better. That's what we need. That's what we are aiming for. So, currently, we can just explore the map a little bit more. Or actually, let's just wait 30 seconds, because then we can upgrade our base right here. And then we will go from there. First of all, we need to actually see how much we need. Don't even know exactly how much resources we need and what we need to go gather so we can get this upgrade here done. But we'll know in 15 seconds. What we will definitely need, though, is more solid material storages. Gonna plop those in. And we were talking about the tower, the ammo factories, but we never actually built any. Should probably change that as well. These need 40 energy. Let's build 2 of them. And we have a maximum limit of ammo storage. That is actually 6 right here. We can see it. So we're going to build all 6. The better, or better to say, the more the better. Therefore, we're going to build always as much ammo storage as we can. Just got to find some kind of location for it. Where it's on the map, it doesn't matter. It can be as close or as far from the factory as we want it to be. Once again, that's very nice. That makes it a hell of a lot easier than trying to find out where we have to put this stuff. We're just going to put those 6 up here, and they will just happily sit there. Right here on the screen, we can see we have 18 out of 30 explosives. And the explosives are exactly what we need for our artillery tower, as well as our rocket tower. We can see it right here. It says explosive. That's what it needs. And now that we have built those 6 storage facilities, we can store up to 210. Very, very nice. Slowly but steadily, we are getting there. Our research ran out, so let's go back into the research screen. And let's see. First of all, renewable energies, the geothermal power plant. We're going to build that, or research that, better to say, right away, so we have it. We definitely need more power, and geothermal is always good. And then here, liquid resource handling. I'm gonna research that as well. Very nice. Slowly but steadily, we are getting there. Anything else that we need right now? Let's take a look around. Doesn't really look like it. Yeah, everything else is absolutely negligible. Yeah, don't need any of this stuff right this moment. Okay, we're just going to ignore the rest, and we're going to go ahead with renewable energy. And then we're going to go ahead, and we are making sure that we are upgrading our base right here. Let's see what we need for this. 1500 carbonium. Yeah, we need more carbonium. We are really low on this stuff, surprisingly. That is highly unusual. Usually it's scarce, but not that scarce. Apparently this map right here is not necessarily in my favor. But let's see if we can dig up some more of the stuff, or find more of it, to be actually precise. I'm talking critters, and my husband has already been looking up the specs for this game. Actually, I don't think the specs are not that high for the game, honestly. Obviously, you can push it to the limit if you have a good computer, but just to actually play it on lower settings, I think you don't need really a gigantic machine or anything like that. Alright, right here, we have more carbonium ore. We're gonna make sure we get this very, very quickly. It's highly annoying if we don't have enough carbonium. Since it's our #1 resource, there's nothing that we need as much as carbonium. So let's plop in a couple of factories right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 over. up. And this time we're going to go splurging. We're going to cover every single tile right away. Just so we have it. And we're going to plop in, let's see, I can't remember exactly, 20. There we go. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't even have enough carbonium to build 7 of them. That's funny. And sad, actually, too. Let's grab us a little bit more carbonium. Just a notch. Come on. So we can build the last one. And then, right here, let's connect it all up to power. So those things here actually get to work and get us more wonderful carbonium. There we go. Now we just need our last tower right here. And we should be golden and should be power positive. Wonderful. Last but not least, let's build us a portal. So when we're getting attacked over here, we can actually get here and defend it if we absolutely have to. Let's see. More carbonium. We have plenty of time. So let's try to find us some more. There we go. Look at that. Right in front of us. They are not. He has it saved on a tab. All the tabs on the browser. You don't even want to know how many tabs I have open right now as we speak. More than I can actually count. More than actually fit on the screen. I am definitely a tab hog. Carbonium factories. Let's plop in a few more here. Once again, I'm going to go splurging on it. This time we should have the resources to do it as well, I hope. Once again, 4. Which means, once again, we will need 7 wind turbines to keep it alive. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once again, we are short for the 7th, but that is okay. Because this time we have 4 factories already running. Therefore, it's not that big a deal. And we're getting the resources in right away. And right here, wonderful, we have another rift portal. Come on, build it. And once again, we should be power positive. And of course we are. Just as before, nothing at all has changed. The other thing that we unlocked earlier was a radar. And there, now that we are that far away from the base, when we, or before we actually build it, when we just click on it and put it on the map, we can see it on the mini-map, the big circle that we are getting. So we're going to plop one right here, which will give us a nice insight of what's going on around here. The only problem is, it will cost more power, so we will need 1 more wind turbine. I believe that should be sufficient to power it all. Let's see, 1 more wind turbine gives us plus 12, and we should be 11 in the hole. Yep, that should work out just fine. And we can see it on the map right here. Even though we are still in the fog of war, we can see where the enemy clusters are, which makes it, of course, very valuable to our cause. Down here, though. What are we going to do down here? We're about to be attacked. We could just plop in a wall, for example. Why not? You can build a wall all the way down here. And then over here to the right, plop in a few gates so we can get in and out ourselves. And then artillery towers. Let's see if we can decimate them before they actually reach us. Well, we can't because we don't have AI hubs. That's a problem. Let's plop in a couple more of those up here to where the rest is. Because also these we can upgrade later, so building those together in a cluster is definitely helpful. Yeah, otherwise it will become an issue in the future. We're going to come further down here. Right here we have our rift station. We're going to use that to help our energy come all the way down. There we go. Very nice. And now we have actually connected this here to our main base because we just made it part of our main base. I am vindicated. Elizabeth despises my tabs. And I see Venom. I can vouch for that. Yes, she can vouch for me having about a gazillion tabs open at all times. You know, it's organized chaos. That's what I like to call it. I know where my tabs are, and I know exactly what's in it. And I know I will need them again. I will need them again eventually. So why close it if I could just leave it open? You know? At least that's how I look at it.
Base is under attack.
Base is under attack. I kind of didn't see the second alert that we are getting attacked on the top right as well, not just on the bottom left. So, this here, we will probably have to do ourselves. Alright, brother. You're not going to destroy our buildings here. The problem is that you just have so much resistance against everything, including our rockets, that we just need a lot of ammo to get through to you. There you go. And on top of that, when he falls over and you stand right there, he will kill you. So, can't stand in his way. Let's come out of here. And let's, yeah, we can actually see our artillery making short work of them. There's not a hell of a lot we have to do ourselves, which is the general idea. Eventually, we shouldn't have to come here anymore at all. And our towers are doing the entire job for us. That is the general idea once we get to that point. But right at the moment, they will need a little bit of help, because otherwise we can see it. No, not like this, but like this. They do some damage, and they actually broke 2 tiles of our wall here. So yeah, at the beginning, they will need a little bit of help, especially since we don't have enough power to keep them powered during the day and the night. You might need that information? No, you will need that information. 100%. It's the same at work. In my job as an engineer, I'm sitting at my desk, a coworker comes up to me, asks me a question. The first thing he looks at my screen is like, why do you have 200 tabs open? Yeah, that happens a lot. All right, let's expand our base a little bit with a few more walls. For example, right here, that is a nice, very much a choke point, more or less, that we can use for our benefit right here. And we have a bunch of ironium here. The truth is, the last thing we need right now is ironium, but when we have it here, might as well get it ready for when we need it. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. We're going to plop one here, going to plop one there, and unfortunately we have 3 more tiles left over down here, but even though we don't need it, we are going to put it in. 200, I have some catching up to do. Well, that's not a literal figure. You know, how people exaggerate it. It's like, why the hell do you have 200 tabs open, man? Okay, next on the list, we just unlocked our renewable energies. In renewable energies, we have right here a geothermal power plant, and the geothermal power plant produces 200 energy. And there are certainly things that we could use less right now than 200 energy. The other thing is it also produces 100 mud per second. So, for that we need liquid resource handling, but we can already build the power plant. And for that we need a geothermal vent, which we happen to have one right here. Which means, yes, also this little area here, I will have it integrated into our main base. That is what needs to happen, because otherwise we will not be able to take advantage of those 200 kilowatts or 200 watts of power. Therefore, we will need a power wire that goes all the way from the plant down to our base. That gives us 200 power, and 200 power is nothing to scoff at, especially this early in the game. So let's get this here built, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to do a damn thing up until the point where we can actually do something with the mud, because the mud is basically a byproduct of the geothermal vent when we are trying to exploit it, and we have to do something with it. But that capability just does not exist yet. We can see all over the map those little power signs plopping up. That is because those little external areas right here, we are powering with wind power only. And the wind power, we just built enough to barely cover it at 100%. And we are currently at 50% wind power. So right at the moment, they are producing with reduced capabilities up until when we get our power back. But that is okay. We don't really care too much about that. Because if we would have to account for every single possibility, we would never get done. So right at the moment, we just wait it out. The 50% usually doesn't take that long.
Storage is full. Build more storage facilities.
Yes, I know. Currently, all of our resources are full, so more storage facilities are actually not the worst idea I've ever heard. So thank you for that tip, Mr. Riggs. Mr. Riggs is the AI that is inside of the suit that we are currently in. Gives us sometimes some very helpful tips, like right now, build more storage facilities. So we will do precisely that. 5 of them gives us an extra 1,000 storage plus 200 each. So we're gonna do that right away. Alrighty, looking good. Liquid resource handling almost done. We are standing right in front of our armory, so, you know, might as well take a look. Do we have anything new in here? Yes, we have our reflective armor, 300 carbonium, 300 ironium. So let's craft it. And in the inventory, just slap it onto our rig. And this one here gives us another 20 health points. So that's another 20 on top of the 20 we already added with the armor plating. 10% damage reflect back to where it came from. And another 4% to physical resistance. And physical resistance, of course, highly important because most of the enemies that we encounter, for example, those little zergs, are all 100% physical damage. So 8% less of that is nothing to laugh at. Very, very nice. Liquid handling, 30 seconds. Come on. That is the one thing that I hate. I am, as you all know, slightly impatient, but I just noticed we have another communication hub that we can plop down. Oh, that should speed up our research. How did I miss that? Should have seen that earlier. Come on, go up there, Mr. Robot, and plop in a second one. And the first one is actually damaged. It doesn't make a difference, it doesn't make it any slower or anything, but when we are here, might as well repair it before it gets destroyed and we don't notice it at all.
New technology has been developed. New buildings.
And there we have the liquid resource handling. Let's take a look here. Right here. Are we actually producing those 200? There's only one way to find out really quickly. We can delete this here. And we can then see right here on the top our local production. Okay, let's repair that as well while we are here. Is currently plus 200. That is actually pretty nice. So we don't actually have to do anything with the mud, it seems like. I actually never paid attention to it because mud becomes very valuable later on. So we might as well go ahead and go into here. We got a few things going for us. For example, right here we have a pipeline. With the pipeline we can come out of there. And then right here we have a liquid storage. Liquid storage, we plop it down and it will just store whatever liquid we are pumping into it. In this case here it's mud. And then right here we have a water filtering plant. The water filtering plant does, of course, do what its name suggests. It filters water. The only thing that we need to pay attention to is over here on the production side, right? It produces 50 water and it takes 100 mud. Right here, our geothermal power plant does produce 100 per second. So, who could have seen it coming? That works out just fine in our favor. One water filtration plant will be enough to keep up with one geothermal power plant. Isn't that nice? That is exactly what we are looking for because, yeah, who could have seen that one coming since we needed the liquid resource handling before we can go into alien research. Yeah, we need water to actually power our alien research. Not entirely sure what the aliens need water for, but well, here we are. So, right at the moment, we need to upgrade our base building to level 3, which in course brings on a large attack onto our base. So we're going to do that here in a second. But one more thing down here on the bottom. We have this little sign right here, and this little sign right here means that we are all out of resources here. It has mined everything up and we can't get any more. So we can sell it and we can get our resources back. In this case here, that's pointless because we are full. But just to make a point, that's what that little icon means on your map or on your building. This little icon here means that the storage is full, as we can see right here. Carbonium, we have 3,750 out of 3,750. So obviously no more can be produced right now, which means all of our factories are just standing still. They're not doing anything. And at the same time, they're also not consuming power. So being full in storage is not always a bad thing, and you don't necessarily have to expand right away. Sometimes it can be a good thing. And in this case here, we have more than enough. We are going to extend our power down here though, so these 4 ironium factories here can turn on, so we can also fill up our storage with that while our carbonium is full. So we are distributing the power just off of carbonium and into ironium for this very moment. But that was just a little bit of a side thing. Now, we will go ahead and we will see. We need 1,500 carbonium, 1,500 uranium. We have both of it, and we're going to go and upgrade it. And it says the upgrade will attract a very strong attack. So, let's get ready for it. Okay. Our problem is, or not our problem, the enemy is coming from the top. We have no defenses on the top. Of course, we could build more AI cores, but right at the moment, since we're low on power as well, we are going to sell towers that we already have. That is the easier solution and the faster solution for right now. Also the more power efficient one, actually. And then we're going to go back to the top right here. And we are going to go ahead and build us another wall. We only have 1 minute and 30 left until the enemy arrives, so we need to hurry up here just a notch. Let's bring this fence here all the way across. All the way across, please. Yeah, kind of stuck here right now. Come on. Let's make a way. So we can actually walk through here. All the way over to this rock right here. Perfect. It's always good to have some natural barriers, and we should incorporate those into our base building as much as we can. Let's plop in, of course, once again, some gates in some random locations. They don't have to be exact, just so we don't have to search for them when we need them quickly. And now, artillery towers. Lots and lots of artillery towers. As many as we can build, as a matter of fact. Just all along here, really. There we go. We can build 4 more. And that is exactly what we're going to do. The last 2 we're going to build over here on the right side, to cover this area here a little bit as well. There we go. And yeah, now we need power, of course. So we're just going to extend our power wire all the way up here and all along here. And I really love what this grid network here looks like in this game. I think that's done very, very well. Very pleasing to the eye, honestly. And now we're all the way over here. One thing is still missing that I would like to have, and that is a radar. If we can have a radar up here, we can see the enemy much earlier. As long as they're still in the fog of war, and the moment we can see them, our artillery will start to fire. Comes a little bit late right now, but yeah, here we are. The enemy has arrived. It is time to make sure that we actually survive this, and you can already see on the minimap how many of them are making their way straight for us. That is going to be one hell of a fight. When they said a very strong attack, they really lied in the first round. But now, slowly but steadily, I think we are getting closer to the truth here. Yeah, that is a lot. Can't get away. Need to go back behind my wall again. They're already breaking through on the right side. Nothing that we can do about that. We don't have enough defenses. I should have probably built a few more AI cores, but thankfully, as long as Mr. Riggs is around, we can do it ourselves. It's not going to be the end of the world. Over here on the left, there are a few smaller ones and one big boy leading them on. We can just destroy them all one by one. Thankfully, those things here are not the smartest critters, and they just attack every single building up until they see us, and they will just follow us blindly around. So theoretically, we could just kite them all around those towers right here. Alright, most of our defenses got torn down, but on the bright side, we did survive the attack relatively unharmed. Just gonna build it all back up. And of course, down here in the bottom, what are you guys doing? Oh, of course. Where are you coming from? Seriously? 4 of you? I don't even have enough rockets for that. Oh, God. And those yellow flowers, of course, keep exploding underneath my feet and doing damage on top of everything else. The last thing that we need right now. But that was the last one. Okay. We actually made it without any major damage to our base. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Yeah, I didn't repair the power grid. There we go. That's better. Anything else? Alright, that is everything. Everything is back to status quo. And we can see we have a question mark up here, which is of course something that we should explore very, very soon. But now that we have a base level 3, or better to say headquarters level 3, we can go ahead and get us alien research. I'm going to add it to the research, and in 3 minutes we have our third and final research tree unlocked and have access to all of it. Very, very good. One other thing that we have in the game, and we could mess with that right now. Let's go heal first though. Let's make sure we are fully healed up and our ammo is full as well. That would be important. Also right here, can we build another armory? No, not yet, but very soon we should be able to, which will give us more ammo for our weapons, of course. We want to go ahead and we want to come all the way as far down here as we can, probably right around here. Did they actually destroy our other base here in the corner? Yes, they did. Look at that. Didn't even notice that was missing. So let's build it back up, just as simple as that. I really love that. Really love this function here to repair. It just looks very pleasing. Elizabeth says, night y'all, hopefully can catch another life again. I can already tell you the next live stream will be on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and it will be, of course, oxygen not included. But other than that, I hope you have a good night. Carbonium ore, we have one more here that I would like to repair, please. Oh, why can't we repair it? Not entirely sure. Oh, because we don't have any carbonium there. Oh, we can't build a carbonium factory when we don't have carbonium. We can't even sell it because it doesn't exist anymore. But this one right here actually also just ran out of carbonium. We repaired it and it immediately went dry. So let's get rid of it and goodbye. Yeah, wonderful. But now we wanted to come down here. Yeah, here we have another enemy that we will, of course, annihilate right away. And this one here can actually be damaged by our machine gun, but not by our rockets. Okay, there it goes. Don't want to stand right beside it when it falls over. And right here, a few more of our acid-spewing critters. The small version and the slightly bigger version. And there are several more bigger versions of that, actually. Alright. Speaking of oxygen not included, my Rhyme base is up to massive amounts of food with 12 dupes. What is considered massive? I'm pretty sure, I can't even remember. At the end of my last stream, how much food did I have? I don't know. Did any of you guys pay attention by any chance? I know we were comfortable at this point. We had our bristle blossoms going on, which is of course a good thing. And by now all of our hatch ranches are full, which means we should also start getting meat in now. Definitely gonna be good. The only thing that we have a problem with now is oxygen. 500k? Yes, that is massive amounts of food with 12 dupes. There is no question about that. I'm pretty sure I'm at, what, 80,000 right now with how many dupes? 16 I believe I have right now. I'm playing it a little bit closer to the edge. So right at the moment we have a storm going on, which is okay. But where we wanted to go is actually right here. Here we have one of those eggs. What happens when I press spacebar here? I made a spawn, oxygen is good now. Well, that is actually the plan for the next episode. You just revealed it. Of course, we need a spawn, or otherwise we're gonna be doomed very soon. There's no question about it. Right here, when I press spacebar, a lot of enemies are gonna come. They want to prevent us from getting this egg here cracked open because it contains a lot of valuable resources. I just did that, we don't actually need them right now. Just to show you guys, these guys are really, really unhappy right now, as you can see. Probably gonna kill us, as a matter of fact. I don't know if I can escape that kind of mass here. But yeah, these eggs right there are lifesavers. They are helping us get so many resources that we need. Highly, highly important to crack those when you see them. And of course, right at the second, right here. I came here slightly unprepared, but I think we may be able to make it. Should be able to make it. And as soon as all of them are dead, we can just go ahead and grab the egg and walk along our merry way. Let me ask you, Keonis, what cycle are you in right now? Oh, they cornered me. You suckers. Lost our sword. Definitely don't want to lose our sword. And yeah, these things are very unhappy. They are going to run against our base right now. Which means we need to go back down here ASAP. And yeah, make sure that we stop them before they get too close and destroy everything. There we go. And here comes the horde. We can see it on the minimap. 100 something? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. 500k food, 100 cycles in, 12 dupes. There is absolutely nothing to complain about, I would say. Okay. Just need to keep moving. If you move, they can't get you. At least that's master plan right now. We are running out of rockets, and that is a bad thing against those things, because the machine gun doesn't really do a hell of a lot of damage. And since we lost our sword as well, that is highly suboptimal. We also don't have any melee damage that we can deal right now. My Verdante colony is at 400 something with only 8 dupes. I mean, again, there's just absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. On Verdante, it's probably actually very much recommended, I would say, to have lower dupes, because your food and your oxygen issues early on are definitely a problem too that you have to deal with somehow. And having less dupes makes that problem somewhat more bearable. But yeah, I'm more of a player that likes to have a lot of dupes. Yes, it is harder to keep them alive, but at the same time, I just like things to get done instantly. If I build something with a 9 priority, I want it to get done yesterday, not tomorrow. Come on, base is under attack. We need to go back and go a little bit into defense mode. These guys here decided to not follow me around, but actually go for the base instead. You suckers. Come here. Where are you at? There you are. I'm not gonna let that fly, of course. Repair everything. And the rest of the horde is still coming at us. You see, there is a lot of freaking enemies coming at us when we try to steal one of their eggs. They are really not happy about that at all. There we go. We are out of everything around here. No more ammo. We need a second armory. ASAP, really. How many more? 2 more. I can see them on the map. There's one. And there's the other. Okay. Now we can head back to the egg and see what's actually in there. Let's see, where's the path? Down here. Go through there. And down here and over to our right. Very nice. There's a couple more left. Really? You were just hiding here? Oh my god. Can I grab this egg now? Please. 10 bucks. Alright, let's try this again. The nice thing about slow play with fewer dupes is that your dupes do skill way up, and stuff doesn't take quite as long to get done as you would imagine. But still a little slower than with 20 dupes. Yeah. Well, the skill thing is definitely true. Since you have fewer dupes, you can obviously skill them much faster, because they have to do much more work compared to if you have like 20 dupes, right? Makes perfect sense. There's no question about it. My RNG on dupes has been rough. Yeah, we all had those gameplays. We all had them. There is no question about that. Sometimes you're just like 5 times in a row, you open up your teleporter and you're looking and you're like, you gotta be kidding me. I really need a dupe, but all of you suck. 240 health back. Now, next thing on the list in the tutorial is to build the laboratory. And the laboratory, once again, as we said earlier, it does need water, and it only needs 10 water, which of course is perfect. We're going to plop it somewhere up here. Let's see, we're going to turn it to something like this here. Let's kind of line it up. Yeah, let's see, where can we put this thing? Not here. Why? Oh, because I'm standing in the way. And then last but not least, we need a water filtering plant. And the water filtering plant we're going to build this way around. And then, of course, we're going to plop in some piping. And that will then supply our laboratory instantly with water. Once again, we are creating mud and energy in our geothermal power plant, putting it into a liquid storage, then into a water filtering plant, and then straight into our lab. And actually, between the lab, we should have one more storage facility right here, because we are making sure that we are saving the excess water in case we need it for something else later. The last time I played, I sectioned off a piece of my inside base and moved it outside to remove slime. I mean to dig out everything but neutronium and the abyssallite phase. Oh, nice. Yeah, that is a fun phase, honestly. You just build a little block that has anything that the dupes need to live, like their bedrooms and their bathrooms, and everything else is just built outside of that little box and gets dug up. Definitely a nice thing. I've done that before. It's a fun thing to do. It takes a while. It's somewhat tedious even. But it's once you get there and the entire map is basically empty, it's really fun. Let's go ahead here with our fencing. Where can we go? I think we can just go right here. Or not fencing, our wall. It kind of looks like a fence, but it's actually a wall. Even though it feels more like a fence because it doesn't really take much damage. We need to upgrade it to take a little bit more before it just falls down. But yeah, right here. Looks like slowly but steadily we have more or less a blueprint of our base. The top one is already completely walled off. We just got to wall off this right side here. And then in the left, gonna come around here. Most of it is already pre-done for us, as a matter of fact. I just see on the map. All we have to do is do something like plop in a wall right here. Come down here to the bottom. We can plop in another wall. Let's say right here, probably somewhere. Yeah, right there. We can just come from this exact rock here. A little bit up, a little bit over. And then all the way straight up. And right there. That's it. It's that simple. That walls off everything. Just as easy as that. And that is our quote-unquote main base. So basically everything that is going to be built outside of this wall right here will get its own power supply, unless it's really close. And it will also, we're just going to leave it more or less undefended because we don't care about it. If it falls, and we're just going to rebuild it. Everything that's inside of these walls here, we will defend with our life. That is the general plan for right now. Oh, you don't have any power. Of course. Yeah, because this 2-tile gap here, it couldn't really bridge. We could have seen it coming. But now it has power. And now we can go in here. And let's see, over here on the right side, we have now unlocked the third skill tree. Now we have this one right here, which is just the base and buildings. Here we have the weapons and equipment. And here we have the alien research. Very, very good. Slowly but steadily making progress. Now, let's see, what else do we have here? We don't need a gas power plant yet. None of this, none of that. Yeah. Actually, we could go directly for headquarters level 4. Or, yeah, we do need headquarters level 4 first. Yeah, let's do headquarters level 4 because then we can get our power plant and our solar panels right here in level 2. So let's do precisely that. 5 minutes to research. That's not too bad. Over here, we still don't have anything that we need because for that we do first need the armory level 2, which we don't have. And over here, we can do a research station and we can do alien floral cultivation. That is actually really nice. It gives us the cultivator and the harvesting station. And I talked about that earlier. We are slowly but steadily getting something where we don't have to do it ourselves anymore. Like right at the moment, the only way for us to get plant biomass is to actually manually go around and destroy plants and then pick up their biomass down here right above our minimap. You can see it slowly but steadily goes up. Obviously, yeah, that's not a sustainable way in any way, shape or form to get a good amount of the stuff. So we will go ahead, research our cultivator and our harvesting station. The cultivator will grow the plants and the harvesting station will harvest it. We're just going to build them side by side. And as simple as that, we have access to plant biomass. Very, very nice, truth to be told. All right, let's take another look in here. Yes, alien flora cultivation. I did click on it, just double checking myself here. And it says here, place a pump on a liquid resource pool. Of course, what the game intends us to do, actually, is to get our mud from, well, out here, which is this mud pool. And we didn't do that. We got our mud from a different source, which, yeah, the tutorial doesn't understand. So we're just going to place a pump down here, even though we are not going to use it for anything. But that will satisfy the tutorial and will let us move on.
The research lab is operational.
Very
We can
nice.
start gathering research samples and scanning the local flora and fauna. We can use the bioscanner to begin collecting samples without destroying the environment. It's the safest and most efficient way to advance our research. This is so exciting. We can find
Safest and most efficient. I don't really care about safe, but efficiency, yeah, I'm a fan of that.
Forget that our primary objective is to establish a two-way portal back to Earth to enable human colonization of Galatea.
Okay, now the orbital scanner comes into play that we built by now quite a while ago. We can go into the orbital scanner view, and right here, we can jump around on the map. We have some global objectives. It says you construct a rift station. For that, we need uranium, of course. We need some palladium and also some titanium. And those three things we cannot find in this location right here where our headquarters is. So slowly but steadily over time, our orbital scanner will go ahead and it will scan the environment around the entire planet to see where we can find stuff like that. Those are basically more or less side missions. And on those side missions, you can establish a base. If you establish a base in the side mission, you can jump back and forth. And that is where we are slowly but steadily getting to. Currently, it's not unlocked yet because they're still talking. But as soon as they're done telling us all about it, we should be able to see a couple things.
I can set my own list of priorities.
Let's see. Did they done it now? Nope, not yet.
Procedure is in progress. Calculating coordinates.
Now the process will soon be completed. All right, then wait a couple more seconds here.
Completed.
Right here, we can now also start scanning plants. We got that when we unlocked the research center with the middle mouse button. When we hold it against a plant, we are discovering new species, and when we get their DNA, it can actually help us with researching stuff in our alien research. So that's why we are doing this. We are just going to run around, and whenever we feel like it, we press the middle mouse button. It will highlight the plants that we can research, and we're just trying to get us a few more of those research points in. Definitely always a good thing if it advances our technology. Doesn't take very long, and it can just be done on the side. Just another mechanic in the game that you should be aware of in case you want to advance your research, because otherwise you will be wondering why your alien research tree is not advancing and you are not unlocking more stuff. That doesn't only work for plants, but also for the critters and for the enemies as well.
Spectral analysis detected traces of palladium scattered throughout this geographical zone. I have marked a safe rift jump location for initial reconnaissance on the orbital scanner interface. Titanium has been detected in a large zone of intense volcanic activity. The orbital scanner has been providing some strange readings from this area, with temperatures ranging from 800 to 100 Kelvin. On top of that, it is entirely
From 800 to 100 Kelvin.
field readings from this area.
100 Kelvin is negative 173.3 degrees Celsius.
However, you should expect extreme environmental conditions.
Did you get all the DLC for this game? Yes, I have every DLC that there currently is for the game.
Upgrade our equipment as much as we can before venturing out into these new biomes.
And I've also played through every DLC there is in the game. And the DLCs are actually worth it, in my opinion. They add another, what, 6 to 8 hours or so of gameplay to the game, which is really nice. So currently, we have 3 new locations available in the Orbital scanner. Finally, they stop talking, and we will get access to them. So let's take a look here. We have the radioactive desert, which has a low, or says here, prominent resources and threat level. It has a low threat level, so there are not that many enemies. We can find tanzanite, carbonium, and ironium. In the acid plains, we have access to rhodonite, and in the volcanic area, to ferronite. Unfortunately, well, none of those 3 are actually either uranium, palladium, or titanium.
It appears that
This game is going for a good price right now until March 14th, or March 4th. Yeah, I think it's actually discounted right now, 40% off if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, if you like the game or what you're seeing, again, this is not sponsored or anything, I'm not paid for saying this, it's just a good game in my opinion. Go ahead, give it a shot, play it for the 2 hours that you have for free on Steam. You can always return it, refund it, you know how it works, I'm sure. There's really not much to lose here. I think the base game is currently $17.99. I mean, can't really beat that. Can't really beat that at all. 47% for all the DLCs? I mean, that's a really good deal. I mean, the game is by now 3 years old. It came out in 2021, I believe, yeah. So, obviously, it's not a new game anymore. But at the same time, that doesn't diminish its value at all. And it is still getting updates, free content updates from the developers, as well as another DLC that is supposed to release very, very soon. Can't wait to play that myself. And the nice thing is, if you finish the game currently with the current DLCs, or you just finish the base game, you can just buy the DLC, you load into your last save game before the end, and you can just go on from there. You don't have to restart the game or anything to experience or enjoy the DLC, which is another really good thing. Because for a lot of other games, if a DLC comes out, you have to either start a new game plus or whatever it may be. Here, you can do that, but you absolutely don't have to. We're currently just waiting for that attack to come in from the top right here. We can see it on the screen on the top right, and right above us in the top right here, we have another enemy attack incoming. And yeah, that is probably gonna be another big boy. So we need to be ready for it to defend our base right here with our artillery towers. But they're still probably not gonna be enough. We are a little bit low on energy, so we will have to do something about that here very soon. But still though, I want to have a few more AI cores. I want to be ready for it. So, even though we are low on power, we don't care. We are still going to plop in a few more before I forget it later again. Like, I wanted to build some towers and just realized we don't have AI cores. So yeah, bad situation to be in. Trying to avoid that. Oh, come on. There we go. We're just gonna run around out here. We are going to wait for the enemy to come to us. If they make it past our artillery barrage, then we will wait for them right here. Looks like the attack was mainly the big boys right here, which our artillery makes a very short work of, so there's really nothing to be worried about from those things here as long as we have artillery towers or a rocket launcher, kind of like this here. There we go. Fall over and goodbye. Really simple and straightforward. Oh, come on, there's another one, really. We don't have any defenses for those forward bases. The only defense we have is ourselves. Or, if we can't defend it, we're just gonna let it fall and rebuild it later. Just as simple as that. Very, very nice. So, let's go back to our base. Let's heal up one more time. And let's take another look here. Research Hazanite handling. So it wants us to go and get us some Hazanite. We need to go over that into research first. Let's see, where can we find Hazanite handling? Right here in the alien research. So we will of course go ahead and we will queue that right up. Can we do anything else in here? Yes, now we can finally unlock the armory level 2. We're gonna do that right away as well. which should then give us hopefully access to some better weapons, because right at the moment, yeah, we are slightly impaired here, and we definitely need something better than what we have. Other than that, inside the armory, yeah, we don't have anything. We know that for a fact. So right at the moment, we literally just need to wait for this research here to finish. That would be nice. As soon as we have the floral cultivation, we will go ahead and put us a little farm in. That's always a good thing. So we have just another power source available to us, which is going to be plant biomass. Here on the top though, yeah. Let's see. In our base, where do we have some space for some storage units? Basically anywhere down here, for example. Yeah, there's nothing that stops us from putting a bunch of storage in here, because we are constantly completely full with resources, so we might as well go ahead and make sure that we put in more storage units. You can build it one by one, kind of like this here. Don't do that. Put it in a nice straight line, will you? That would be nice. There we go. We're gonna go ahead. Where are we at? Right here. If you press, not this. If you just hold it, it will just build it in a straight line for us. We don't have to press anything. We don't have to do anything. We literally, as long as we have space, we can just pull straight down or straight over in either direction that we want, and it will just put them in. Pretty simple and straightforward. Good way to just build straight lines of stuff. So let's see, where do we end up with our storage? We were at 3750, and now we're at 5550. Very good. That is definitely a nice bump to our storage capabilities. The only thing that I really want down here would be another radar, because we are a little bit blind on this side of the map, which is always a bad thing. So let's come all the way down. Let's extend it as far as we can. Somewhere like right here, we can see it on the minimap moving around depending on where we place it. And there we have it. Very good. Let's see if we can see anything on the map here. There are really not that many enemies. We can actually finish off this complete left edge here and clear it completely of enemies while we are at it. Just so that little swarm here is gone. We're just gonna mow straight in there. Something like this here. There we go. A couple of rockets and a few bullets. Should make short work of these guys. Very nice. And over here, do we have a few more? No, we don't. Oh, actually we do. Right here. Alright. And we can see it. We just increased our familiarity of the Canoptrix. We got a DNA point for it. We can read up on them, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, if we so choose. Of course, for the little critters, that doesn't matter at all in any way, shape, or form, because they're susceptible to anything. And all they're doing is hitting us really hard if they can get close enough to us. So yeah, there's not really a hell of a lot to learn about those things. Later on, though, that will become some good information that we will need more often than not, when the enemies become slightly more intricate than what we are dealing with right now. Alright, so far so good. The entire left side of the map is now cleared. No more enemies left. We can go up a little bit further to the north. A few more of the small critters right here. Don't need anything to clear those out. There we go. Just as simple as that. Here we have this question mark. What do we have here? Let's see. Another geothermal vent is pretty far away from our base though. Probably gonna exploit that in a little bit, but right at this moment we're just gonna leave it where it's at. It will be shown on our map with this little triangle, so we will always know where it's at, and it's not like we're gonna lose it. Okay, yeah, this guy here is the same guy from earlier, who actually can't be harmed by rockets, but an MG is definitely gonna penetrate his, clearly some kind of stone body, which is weird, but sure, we will just go with it. But he falls over like the rest. But yeah, it is a little bit tedious. Those smaller groups here are no problem, but bigger groups, we don't really have any defenses against them whatsoever. This little rocket launcher is not going to do a hell of a lot, so we really need better weapons. Or we are not going to make it much longer here, that's for sure. Come on. There we go. This one here flops over too. And right here we have another nest, so we need to clear that out. And we're going to do that right away before we forget it later. Alright, let's come straight through here. A few more small ones. It's always nice that you can just tell what is waiting for you based on the size of the blob on the map. So the minimap is definitely your friend in this game. It's not to be underestimated. I'm basically constantly looking at the minimap, even while fighting the critters. I'm not even looking at my own mech. Mainly I'm looking at the minimap, because it just gives me so much information about my surroundings. It's definitely a helpful tool at all times. Alright, this guy here is going to fall over too. Very good. Let's make it down to this nest here. Not a mud puddle. Through the hole and straight downwards. Oh my god, it's not a nest, it's a big guy. Yeah, this looks extremely hostile. Thanks for telling me. It also spits some kind of acid that actually sticks around on the floor and damages us if you walk into it, so it's actually double dangerous. It's not just if it hits you, but also if you then later on walk into it, so... Lots of variables on this thing here. Alright, but we got him. Okay, another barrage here in the back. Just trying to strafe back and forth here. There we go. Another one in the back. That gave us some nice rewards here. Definitely a good thing. So every time you kill something, if you now look into our inventory, do we have anything new? Yes, right here. We definitely have a holo decoy that we didn't have before because it has a plus on it. We haven't clicked on it or looked at it yet. Yeah, it's basically just a projector that the enemies will attack so we can get away. Definitely a good thing to have. We're going to plop that in as well. Let's try it out just for the fun of it. And see if that actually works. If I press 5. Oh, look at that. I'm an idiot. I pressed 5. I meant to press 6. 6 is the button to press. We have 5 of them. I just put a turret down. Okay, so that's what that looks like. The enemies will think that is actually us right there and attack that instead of us. Huh, interesting though. But down here, there's really not much else. I'm actually surprised. Few more enemies here, but nothing crazy. Azonite handling still has 2 minutes and 50 seconds on it. And looking at the time, I think before... Let me take a look at this again. So Azonite handling is needed. And before we actually go somewhere and build us a second base... Yeah... I think that is a good ending point for today before we get to this point. We still have a little bit of research to do and stuff like that, so we have a few more minutes to go, but we're not going to go quite over to another base today. I think we're going to save us that for the next time around. But yeah, for right now, we are looking not too bad, but also we could be looking better. Like, for example, we are still low on energy. Thankfully, it doesn't matter. We built more than enough storage that we can make it through the night. As soon as the day break comes, our solar power panels right here will pick up the slack in a heartbeat, so that's always a very good thing. But yeah, overall, I think the base looks very good. We have walls on all but one side, and that side is actually only left open by about a tiny little bit, actually. All this here is actually walled off all around. So we are literally just lacking this tiny little piece right here. You know what? Screw it. We're going to plop that in right now just so we can say the base is fully done. There we go. So right here we have this rock from this rock, which is going to come straight over and straight across until we hit the next one. There we go. And that actually makes it a fully walled in base.
The storm is very violent, but our base is safe from the wind. Wind turbine output is at maximum levels.
We still have 12 of our cores left. And right at the moment, you see that we have a storm coming. We have a 0% sun power, but we have 500% wind power, which gives us currently 1,600 plus. We need to do something with that right away. That is an opportunity that we cannot let slide. We need to put in more energy storage, basically anywhere. It doesn't really matter where. Let's just plop it right here. There we go. As much as we can fit here, and as fast as we can. If the storm is going, we are going to charge this stuff here up in absolutely no time. So we're going to plop that in. It will cost us a few resources, but it will help us out so much in the long run. That is not even funny. Because right at the moment we are at 62,000 when all this stuff here is built. Once again, one of those energy storages here gives us plus 10,000 in level 1. And those here are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 of them. So another 180,000. Wow, that's definitely going to be very helpful. Come on, let's get it all up and running. And of course, we were a little bit too slow. The storm just ended. That is unfortunate. Well, we are thankfully still positive. It will just take a little bit longer to charge it up. So I should have built these here just a notch earlier in anticipation of a storm like this or any event that actually gives us a lot of energy and be ready for it. But even though right now we are still going to charge it up very slowly but steadily. And we can see our research stopped because we actually ripped out one of our energy connectors right here. Just got to put it back in. And we are back up and running. Another 25 seconds and we will have this research here done. Let's take another look at it. Maybe that doesn't work, not entirely sure why. But yes, the harvesting station is ready. We are going to put that in here in a second. But I do want to add a couple more things to our research, like renewable energies level 2. Highly important. Cannot overstate that importance. And rare element mining. We also want to go into that because the rare element mine right here lets us produce stuff like cobalt or palladium or crude uranium or titanium, all the stuff that we are now going after. It's really, really nice. Let's see here. Carbonium synthesizers. We really don't need any of the stuff right now. Yeah, at the moment we're still doing good on all of this, but we do want the armory level 2, which is already in the queue, which is nice. And yeah, over here, we're also good. So these are the 4 things that we need right now. Charles says, what is the learning curve on this game? It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's nothing at all in comparison to Oxygen Not Included, for example. It's really simple. The first time you play it, if you play it on a lower difficulty mode, the tutorial is really nice. It walks you through most of the stuff that you need to know. And everything else is basically relatively self-explanatory. Like when we take a look at the research tree right here. I mean, everything that you click on, it explains to you in great detail right here. And if you hover over it, it tells you basically exactly what it does. Build cost, requirements, production, upkeep, additional storage. It's pretty straightforward. I think the learning curve is pretty easy.
If we can gather more samples.
Tuning in from the shower. What's happening here? Magenta is here. Magenta, how are you doing tonight? Turning in from the shower. That may be a first as well, that somebody turns into one of my streams from the shower. But I mean, if somebody does that, then it is definitely Magenta. Just trying out a new game here on stream, the Riftbreaker. Really fun game. I think I have about 100 hours in this thing or so.
It looks like there's a lot of these plants or mushrooms or
nice little base builder. A little bit of action RPG elements built in. A little bit of hack and slash. I mean, basically, a little bit of everything. Looks like it's worth giving a shot. I mean, as Highborn Chase said, 47% including all the DLCs. That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal, not gonna lie about it. So right at the moment, we have the cultivator right here. That is another thing. So we just unlocked the cultivator. We can just take a look here and act like we have, or I will act like I have no idea what it does. The cultivator says, this plant plants plants. I actually have never read that, not even gonna lie about it. That's funny though. So yes, this plant plants plants. It shows you obviously exactly what these big circle around here is, the area in which it will plant plants. It shows you in the build cost what it costs for a carbonium, 400 ironium and 100 cobalt. And the upkeep is it needs 100 energy and 100 water. Alright, now we need some water because currently we are only producing 50. Right here we have a liquid pump. The liquid pump produces, for example, 100 mud per second. We already built one earlier over here, we just didn't use it for anything. And we have a water filtration plant. A water filtration plant uses 100 mud and it spits out 50 water. Well, we need 100 though, right? So we need a second pump. So we need 2 pumps. You can see in this little green circle we can't build another one, so we need to build the second one just outside of this circle, something like maybe right here will get the job done. And then we need 2 water filtration plants. So we need 2 water filtration plants, 200 mud to go into the water filtration plant, and then we will get 100 water out of it. Pretty straightforward, I would say. We're gonna plop one right here, gonna plop one right there. Then we're gonna come out with a pipe and connect the pipe to the mud inlet, because once again we are pumping mud, as we can clearly see right here. That is clearly mud and not water. Now we're gonna pump that mud into those 2 water filtration plants. Then we need to build a pipe that comes out, something like this, something like that. Connect the 2 pipes together. So now those 2 pipes right here coming into one single pipe. And this pipeline right here, we can see it has an input of 100 water per second. Yep, pretty straightforward, I would argue. And now we need to find us a nice big space, like for example, right around here. That's a nice big space. So now connect the pipe up, build it, and we will see that this plant here will start actually planting plants. Well, it will need power as well, so of course we need to hook it up to power somewhere. For example, let's do something like this here. That'll do it. And as soon as it has the power, those little drones here come out, and they will start planting all of that greenery all around. Now we have a second building called the harvesting station. Let's do the same thing here that we just did. Let's take another look at what it does. Sends out automatic drones that gather alien flora in a radius around the building. This process generates all kinds of resources depending on what was generated, which, of course, for example, is plant biomass to be precise. The same stuff that we can get by just running around and just doing this here. So when we do that, we can see it. Clearly, we are getting plant biomass, a little bit of carbonium, even, depending on, once again, what the game just said, what we are tearing up. In this case here, we are not just tearing up, though we are also planting it. We can manually tear it up, or we can have a building do it for us. And all this building here needs is another 100 energy. And we can build it somewhere like right here, and it will encapsulate the end. Not like this, that was my mistake. Wrong button. We need to build the harvesting station, build it right beside our cultivator. And now one of them will plant, the other one will gather it. And that is a nice unison right here. That will generate us some plant mass, which will generate us some power. And of course, as it said, other resources, but that is, unless you have a lot of these here, almost negligible. So yeah, I think the game is really good at explaining what it is trying to do, or what it wants you to do with the game. That is for every building, for every action, for every weapon. So yeah, I think the learning curve is pretty flat. It's definitely not steep. We have another attack incoming in 1 minute. Coming from over here. And actually from down here in the bottom as well. So they will definitely tear into our outward stations. But it won't matter anymore, because this one here doesn't have anything that's worth it anymore. So we will actually go ahead and we will sell all this stuff, because we definitely don't need it anymore. We can just come in here into the build menu, and we can just sell all of these here. Just as simple as that. We will get the resources back, even though it doesn't matter. We are maxed out to the brim. And then we just abandon this location here completely. We don't need it anymore. And our entire footprint has been removed, and if we had storage, we would also get the entirety of our resources back. We could do something like this here, for example. Let's see. We still have 5 seconds. That's not a lot of time. Let's do that quickly. Let's put in more plants. Just temporarily. Again, we can get all the stuff back. And let's plop in a bunch of towers. As many as we can. Because the enemy is on our doorstep. And while we are at it, let's also plop in a radar. A learning curve is usually skill versus time, with skill on the y-axis. So an easy learning curve should be a steep one, but because climbing a steep slope is much harder, that doesn't work. Yes, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, yeah, I can't deny the logic. I cannot deny it. Okay. Obviously, most of the stuff that we have here will get annihilated because we have no walls or anything that holds it back. That will go straight into attacking our actual buildings. But also, again, it doesn't matter too much. We have the resources to accommodate for it. Thankfully, because I'm talking a lot when we're playing slow, usually you wouldn't have that abundance. You would just constantly be building, trying to find new stuff and whatnot. Let's teleport right back into the fray. Act like nothing has ever happened. We never left. That just didn't happen. Yeah, we're just gonna outright ignore it. And actually destroyed a hell of a lot less than I anticipated. Look at this here. Yeah, maybe the armada of towers that we put in the last second actually saved this outpost here. Even though, again, it wouldn't have mattered in the first place. That was just for the fun of it. So... let's get rid of those towers again. No point in wasting the energy, or mainly the AI cores, on those 3 carbonium factories down here. We can leave those turbines right here. We're gonna get rid of those later, but we don't need them anymore, but yeah. Let's see, how did we hold out over here? Where did they attack? Did they attack our wall at all? I didn't pay attention. Let's see. I don't really see any damage. Did they not make it through? Appear we have a little bit of damage. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really see any damage. I expected more damage. Apparently, that was a rather weak attack today. Like the last one was a lot. This one here was nothing. It's a little bit of random what they're going to throw at you. You just always need to be ready for the worst case scenario. Down here, this uranium here is gone. Those were only 3 tiles, where the others here have a lot more tiles to mine on. Very nice. I just always try to keep my minimap clear of all of that kind of clutter of all those random symbols and whatnot.
Is going to hit close to our position.
And let's take a look. How is our harvester and cultivator doing? I really need to build me a rift portal up here, so I can travel up here to that corner a little bit easier. Actually, to that entire wall here. Let's build a couple more along here, so we can go wherever the attack might happen. There we go. 3 of them should get the job done. But yep, right here we can see it. We have our harvesters as well as our cultivators flying around. Some of them cultivating, making us more greenery, and the rest of them getting rid of it. Very, very nice. We also have these comets here flying in every once in a while. Pretty mushrooms. Yes, they are some pretty mushrooms. I mean, the graphics of this game are really good, honestly. I mean, I really like the art style that they're using here. Just overall, the buildings look nice. They're nice and distinguishable. We can build a 3rd one, speaking of the devil.
More storage facilities.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of the graphics of this game overall. Also, the ray tracing is really nice, the light effects. It's just a good game overall, no matter how I look at it. Let's see, I'm pretty sure over here this new question mark that wasn't there earlier is where this comet just landed. Yes, right here. And we can see it brought us down from space another ironium ore site that we can mine out. Obviously, don't need it right now, but it will just stay there, so it's not going to disappear or anything. We can come back here and mine it out whenever we need access to this particular resource. What we do really need, this is really, yeah, we need more energy. So at the moment, we don't really have any access to it. We need to wait for the research. In the laboratory right here. Let's see, can we do this, please? There we go. In the laboratory, we really need this here, the renewable energies level 2, and those are highly, highly important, so we can get the energy levels up. Even though, again, we still have 55,000 in the storage, we will survive any night right now. It's not that big of a deal, but I still prefer to have a positive number right there. This is not like any base builder I have seen. Excellent graphics. Yeah, I mean, this game is literally its own thing. I cannot compare it to anything else. It's kind of like Oxygen Not Included. Once again, I have to come back to Oni. There's nothing else that I can compare to it. And it's the same for Riftbreaker, just in a different way. There is no other game that I can 100% say, yep, it's kind of like this or kind of like that. It's basically, it's completely its own thing, which makes it really nice. My hands were too wet to respond. Glad you're enjoying the game. Looks like fun from what I've seen. Really gorgeous. Yeah, I agree. It is a lot. I do have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I have about 100 hours or so in it by now. Completed the entire campaign plus all DLCs that are currently out twice. This is now the third time, this time live, obviously. And I'm still not bored of it in any way, shape, or form. We just got the Hazanite research done, which should now be checked off in here, I believe. Too wet to ignore weather. Oh, I know what you meant. So now that we have this here unlocked, this is now gone, we have a new location. And this new location has Hazanite. And these resources here, like Hazanite, for example, or Ferdonite, or Rhodonite, or what is the last one? Tanzanite, are mainly needed for constructing your weapons and various special pieces of equipment for your mech right here. Let's see, I don't think I have anything. Actually, right here, we have the lightning gun that I have unlocked in the epic version. It needs 7,000 carbonium, 350 Ferdonite, and 1,200 titanium. And the Ferdonite and the titanium you can only obtain in those kind of bases, or better to say side missions, that we just saw in the orbital scanner. So that's exactly what the orbital scanner is for. But like I said, we're going to save us those side missions here because they do have bigger enemies. They have different enemies. The environment looks completely different. Those are highly interesting, actually. You can see this is a radioactive desert, acidic plains, a volcanic area. And right here, it's kind of like the same area where we are right now, just that it has Hazanite, which we do also, apparently. We just haven't found it yet. But yeah, here we actually can build a base where we can actually mine Hazanite. So yeah, that is something that we are going to do in the next stream. I would really like to see the renewable energy, but I don't know if I have the energy left in me today. Oh, it's Wednesday after a long day of work. Not entirely sure if I have the energy in me to stay here for another 10 minutes, honestly, guys. Not even gonna lie about it. But, like I said, the next stream is going to happen this Saturday, which should be March the 2nd. I don't have an exact time yet. It's probably going to be 3, 4, 5 p.m. Eastern. Of course, mainly to give you guys, mainly from the US, a chance to join, but also give the guys from Europe a chance to join if they choose to do so. And of course, we are going to play Oxygen Not Included on the next stream. And we're going to continue with our base. And yes, we have just taken care of a bunch of things. We have solved the food problem, we have solved the CO2 problem, but the problem that we haven't solved yet is oxygen. As a matter of fact, We have basically ignored oxygen so far, and a lot of people have been surprised that we are still alive. But there is actually a method to the madness, and I have a good feeling about this, that we are even going to survive the oxygen crisis as well. But yeah, I think that is a Magenta with $1.99 as a super chat. Care package in DMs to excite you during downtime. I truly appreciate it, Magenta. Thank you so much. You're crazy, my man. Thank you. But yeah, I think this is a good ending point for today. Quite honestly, we're looking good. We have a nice base. We have walls all around. We have our orbital scanner up. We are power positive. We have 5,500 of every resource that we can currently have. And just right now, just a couple minutes ago, we put in a nice cultivator and, of course, also harvesting station pair, which we can see has now a nice lush area around it. We can even build a second one of those harvesters, and it will still be more than enough to keep up with one cultivator. So that is another very nice thing to see. But yeah, I think that is it for today. Yeah, I hope I see you guys around on Saturday, and of course a little bit of self-promotion. If you want to stay up to date with my streaming schedule, which I'm currently working on, I will release it very soon. Feel free to join my Discord. You can find the link in the description down below. And of course, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do me a favor, like it. Every like helps, and it doesn't cost you a dime. And of course, should you not be subscribed to the channel yet, I would highly appreciate that as well. Thank you guys very much. But that is all I have for you today. And with that, I say thank you and peace.